Bros, thanks for joining us to set this one up. Obviously, reaction from Monday. How did the group react to what was a fairly hefty defeat from Somerset?
Yeah, like you said, hefty defeat, quite a tough one to take. Obviously, going 5-5 on the bounce and then losing that quite heavily wasn't ideal. Obviously, the guys are really disappointed, but you know, this is T20 cricket. You know, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. So Somerset are a very strong outfit. I mean, I think top of the table, aren't they? So hence they've been playing some really good cricket. But you know, you just got to bounce back tonight. Hopefully, put a really good performance in, and you know, just make amends for a Monday, really.
Such is the speed with which these games come. You're, especially as a young man like yourself, you're learning lessons so quickly. And we saw from Somerset, I think the top 5 all got in their 20s or 30s, didn't they? But it's such a delicate balance in this tournament. How are you learning to cope with that?
Yeah, like it's hard. Obviously, coming in at the top of the order, trying to balance out, just playing my certain role, and you know, it's not always going to come off. So I'm just trying to just be positive, play my role, and you know, obviously we were 3 down early in the power play, but other guys came in and stepped up, and it's, you know, you're going to come off sometimes, you're not, so you just got to try and just stay positive, and you know, when it's always, at some point you're going to come off, and you know, I played well on Friday. Monday wasn't to be, but you know, hopefully today we'll get some good strikes our way and play well. And
does that flick the switch? Because we saw, like, when you at Hove, I think was 50 odd there, and against Glamorgan here, suddenly it seems to flick a switch with you and off you go, and it's like, whoa, you can't take your eyes off you.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's T20, it's explosive. Like some days you're gonna come off, and like in that Friday we were 1 for 2 in it, and I've still played the same way, like still just tried to be positive, and it came off. Like another day that might not happen, and like another day on Monday I might get that over mid-off, or I could go anywhere. So you just, yeah, this is it. This is T20 cricket, and this is part of the game. You're gonna score runs, you're not. So, but when it does come off for me, it is electric. It's very fast-paced, and like, you know, it's you know, I can, on my day I can score very quickly and, you know, put teams away. But yeah, I just got to have the same mentality, the same positive mindset, and you know, if I enjoy my cricket and I'm playing, you know, to 100% and give 100%, then most of the time, hopefully more often than not, I'll play my best cricket and perform for the team. So
do you feel you've really got your place in the team now? Whatever, red ball, white ball, but do you feel particularly in white ball that you're in there, your feet are under the table?
It's hard to say, to be honest. Like, we've had a couple of injuries with Peps and Rosso. You know, Rosso's still out and stuff, so you never know. And obviously when Dan comes in and out of the team, it's difficult. So yeah, sure. It's hard to really say I've secured my spot in this team. Like, when I get the chance, I have to just try the best I can and perform. Obviously I want to play all 3 formats consistently, and I feel like I'm good enough to do that. But you know, we've got such a strong squad and such a good balance. It's hard, you know, for the coach to make you can only pick 11 players in a team, and it's a hard decision for a captain to make and a coach. So you know, at the moment I'm just relishing this chance to be playing at the top of the order. You know, I've had a few decent games, but you know, like I said, I want to be consistently in the team and get a consistent chance. And when I get the chance to play, I want to just put in the best performance I can, and you know, that's not always going to happen. Obviously, we know cricket, you're not always going to score runs. So as long as I've got the backing of the coaches, which I do, and you know, my teammates and family, that's all that matters, really.
Well, big day today. Obviously vital to get victory, and you know, Battle of the Bridge is always a bit special. Special day for you though. Today and tomorrow, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, I just want to say massive shout out to my mum. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday, mum. I know she'll be watching tonight, keeping a close eye, and she'll be very eager for me to do well and for the team to do well and win. So just want to say thank you to her, because she's been a massive part, supporting my life. Both my parents have, and you know, without them I wouldn't be sitting here today where I am. So just want to say massive thank you to them, for their continued support and hard work. And I know they're immensely proud of me today, and they will be for the rest of their lives. So just want to say thank you to her, and yeah.
Well, delighted to be joined by the Kent Vice Captain Daniel Bell-Drummond. Daniel, thanks for your time. It's crazy to think that just over a fortnight ago the Kent Spitfires fans were baying for blood because you'd lost 4 or 5 games, and now here we are, you're on a roll, 4 games on the trot. It's just amazing how volatile this tournament is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a crazy competition. We got off to a slow start, like you said. We didn't lose many games convincingly. There are a few tight games in there we couldn't get over the line, but yeah, we're on a nice little streak now, 4 in a row, hopefully 5. But yeah, it just shows how quickly T20 can turn. I remember Essex had a season like that 3-4 years ago, and yeah, it's just funny how things can change. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
Battle of the Bridge, always a little bit different. There's always a little bit of a neighbourly rivalry, should we say, even though there's a stretch of water in between us.
For sure, it's always, I would say, enjoyable coming here. It's obviously always a challenge. You guys, obviously, it's a very good team, so no, we're really looking forward to it. It's quite tight in the table between us as well, so a lot to play for. But no, always enjoy coming over the bridge and playing against our rivals.
It was, of course, the Essex game that was the last loss. Was there any perceivable change in plan, change in action that you took, or is it just the way the evolution has gone?
I think, to be honest, a few players have stepped up. We've bowled really well, and the batters are starting to get bigger scores. We were getting a lot of 20 odds, 30 odds, which weren't really helping us build big scores. And yeah, that day we got done by Sam Cook, hat-trick. So yeah, I think once we'd lost our 5th game in a row.
You'd be pleased to know he's not playing today.
Yeah, happy days for us. But yeah, I think once we got that 5th loss out of the way, I just think that the only way was up. We've got such a good team on paper, so it just took a few guys to come good, some match-winning performances in there. And yeah, a few guys injuries. We had Fred Clarkson back as well coming in. So no, I think hopefully we can keep this momentum going. But yeah, long memories from that last Essex game we had.
Does that play into the psyche in any way today?
Not really. I think if anything, the opposite. We're in a rich vein of form. So no, we're looking forward to it. It's always, like I said, it's always a challenge coming here. But no, hopefully we can try and get one back on Essex.
You talk about people leading the way and upping their game. Look in the mirror. I mean, I know you're averaging 45, but I look at the last 4 games, you've been averaging 83. Now, you must really feel you're seeing it really well right now.
Yeah, I've been enjoying my cricket at the minute. I've just been trying to keep it as simple as possible. And yeah, like I said, after that last loss against Essex at home, we all needed to look in the mirror and stand up. I'm a senior player, being one of them, and yeah, I'm glad that I've been able to get back some form and help Kent win some games. So it's still a long way to go in the competition, so I still want to keep going, and I know that other guys in the team want to do the same. But yeah, hopefully I can carry on my form in the latter stages of this competition.
Well, I hope the trend keeps going, if not too quickly tonight. But thanks for your time, Dan.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Thank you.
Count me in. Well, welcome out to the middle for the toss. I'm joined by our 2 umpires this evening and the 2 captains. For Kent, that's Sam Billings, and of course for Essex, it's Simon Harmer. Okay, Simon has the coin. Tails is called. Tails it is. Sam, can we grab a quick word? I'll come over to you. Welcome back to Chelmsford. You've won the toss, Sam. What are you going to do and why?
Yeah, we're going to have a bowl. Generally, that's what most people do when they come to Chelmsford, and they've had some success doing the same here. So it looks a really good wicket, hybrid wicket, but obviously used. But yeah, we hope to kind of restrict them and then knock them off.
4 wins in a row for Kent Spitfires now. A lot of confidence in your camp. Exciting part of the comp.
Yeah, of course there is. We've been playing some really good cricket throughout, really. And we just kind of missed out on those close fixtures at the start of the tournament, and getting on a bit of a roll now. Guys have got confidence with both bat and ball, and it makes a huge amount of difference in this format. We know how volatile it is, but Essex are a great side. It's always great fun coming here with the crowd here as well. So we're looking forward to a really good contest tonight, and hopefully we play well.
And team news for Kent, any changes?
Yeah, unfortunately Fred Clarkson did his hamstring in the last game, so Joey Everson comes back into the side.
Wish you well, Sam. Thanks for your time. Simon, we'll grab a quick word. Same as Monday, we've lost the toss. Huge difference to the plan?
Not really. We probably would have bowled first as well. But we've got to do our disciplines well. If we bat well and defend nicely this evening, we should be okay.
And a disappointing result on Monday, of course. Opportunity to get back on the horse tonight and generate some momentum going into the week ahead.
Yeah, I think Monday's gone. We've got 4 games to look forward to, and as I said, we need to do our disciplines well. That starts tonight. We need to put in a big performance, not look too far into the future, and make sure that we're doing the good stuff.
And team news for Essex tonight, any changes?
1 change, Aaron Nidger comes in for Sam Cook.
Wish you well, Simon. Go well tonight. Well, that's the toss. Kent have won the toss. They will bowl first tonight. Now, if you keep your eyes on the big screen, we're going to rewind a year and have a look at how Essex beat Kent in this fixture last season. Done.
Another dominant performance at home in the Vitality Blast saw Essex thrash Kent by 7 wickets with 27 balls to spare to see them fly up to 3rd in the table. The Eagles won the toss and bowled, and what a decision that turned out to be, as Daniel Sams had Daniel Bell-Drummond held by Simon Harmer at slip in the game's opening over. Then Allison was given the ball for the 4th and grabbed 2 wickets for the cost of 3 runs. Tawanda Muaye picked out Sams in the deep, he holding on well in spite of the sun. And then Jordan Cox clipped to William Buttleman at short fine, which had Kent on 17 for 3 after 4 overs. And that immediately became 17 for 4, Sams again involved with the catch. Sam Cook miserly with figures of 1 for 3 from 2 overs. The Spitfires were neither spitting nor firing, as the total read 24 for 4 at the end of the 6 overs of power play. They then reached 55 for 5 at the halfway stage of their innings, Harmer with a stunning return catch to remove Sam Billings for 8. Alex Blake and Jack Leaning tried to lead a recovery for the visitors until the latter lost his head and was bowled by Matt Critchley, with a total now on 73 for 6 in the 13th over. 5 to go and the visitors had stuttered to 88 for 6. and that became 91 for 7 as Blake on 38 skied Sams to Paul Walter. Ball continuing to dominate bat as it had from the off. Harmer's figures were ruined somewhat as George Linder went big off the spinner, whose 4 overs still brought him the fine figures of 1 for 19. Critchley bagged a second victim. Sams involved again as Linder went for 18 at 104 for 8, the former Derbyshire man continuing his fine form with both bat and ball. Sams too was in fine fettle, his 4 overs bringing him figures of 2 for 22, even though K's Ahmed got hold of the Aussie in his last over. He added a 4th catch to his 2 wickets as Ahmed holed out off Cook to start the final over, the batsman out for 24. Cook's 4 overs saw him with figures of 2 for 14, Kent ending their 20 on 130 for 9. The Eagles' reply began with Buttleman playing out a maiden to Freddie Klassen, but Adam Rossington got things moving with a magnificently timed flick off his hip for 6. But Klassen soon removed Rossington for 8, the left armour with the extraordinary and very rare figures of 2 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 0. It had been a stodgy start to the reply until Michael Pepper went big in the last over of the power play, while Buttleman finally got moving with a beautiful stroke which took his team to a total of 39 for 1 at the end of the 6 overs. The Eagles would have been happy with that. Blake then produced something quite brilliant in the deep to remove Buttleman for 15. It was hard enough to get to ball and keep it off the ground, never mind being able to claim a catch at the second attempt. There is an air of confidence around Pepper right now, and it is not hard to see why when you have the ability to play strokes like these. Not only does his batting contain a lot of power, but also immense elegance, as witnessed by this sumptuous shot over extra cover. With him easing to 45 off 25 balls, Essex had knocked off 75 of the runs required and still had 10 overs to go. The fiery Pepper was at another T20 50, his second at home this season and his 3rd overall, this one coming off only 28 balls in an innings which was at odds with the rest. He'd struck 2 4s and 4 6s. But the next delivery he faced, a top-edge sweep off Ahmed, was easily held by Grant Stewart at short fine leg. He may have gone, but Pepper had surely won his side the game. He left with a total on 85 for 3, with 51 more runs needed and plenty of time to get them. They didn't need much of that time either, as Walter exploded. He brought out the long handle to smash the ball a long, long way on 3 occasions in the space of 6 deliveries to end his cameo on a 33 which had occupied just 16 balls. To confirm just how this match had gone right from the start, it was won as Linder went wide down the leg side, the ball going all the way to the fence. 5 wides were given, even though 1 would have been enough, the total reaching 135 for 3.
Good evening, welcome to the Cloud County Ground. As we get set for another battle of the bridge, I'm Simon Ward. Alongside me, Essex women's cricketer and Ireland international and fast bowling coach Kath Dalton. Kath, this has got a special feeling to it when you've got neighbours battling it out, isn't it?
Oh, it always does, doesn't it, Simon? It's wonderful to be here. The Battle of the Bridge always brings the crowd in. It's a sellout crowd here at Chelmsford tonight, so I'm very much looking forward to this one.
And it really sets up beautifully with Kent having sorted themselves out, funny enough, after that Essex loss at Canterbury at the beginning. They've been unbeaten ever since. Essex, well, we knew they took that run of 5 games into the game on Monday night. Somerset, to be fair, did a really professional job on them. So Simon Harmer's men looking to bounce back, Sam Billings' men looking to keep things going. The psychology of this one will be very interesting.
Yeah, it will be, and actually listening to Sam Billings after that loss and at the one at the Oval as well against Surrey, he said that they're just going to keep playing as they play. So I think we're going to be in for a very entertaining contest today. But, you know, Essex at home, they're always difficult to beat, and when they're in a run of form, I know there was that little blip against Somerset, but I think it'll be an exciting contest, and yeah, as I said, can't wait to see this one.
Well, we'll bring you the team news in just a moment, but first up, in case you're new to the game, here is a review of some of the rules and laws that you may want to be aware of this evening.
Each match is played by 2 teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's 1 wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. 1 over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
So that should set things up nicely for you this evening. The team news, such as we have it from the coin toss, is 1 change for either side. Essex already having announced that Sam Cook would be rested for this one, particularly with the Warwickshire game in the LV County Championship coming up on Sunday. His replacement, Aaron Nijjar, the slow left armer, coming in to take the paceman's place. So that'll be interesting to work out where Essex are looking at. The only thing I can think of is that the Kent lineup has got 10 right-handers and only one left-hander. Do you think that plays in?
Oh, I think it does. You know, it plays into selection. Obviously, Sam Cook's a big loss, isn't he? Last time out against Kent, taking that hat-trick, taking their top order with him. So it's going to be big boots to fill for Nijjar, but being a left armer just brings a different variety to the Essex attack, I think.
It's going to be a big onus on the likes of Paul Walter as well, because, you know, effectively it's a different bowling mix, shall we say, and the likes of Paul Walter, he's been bowling a lot more this season, of course he has, but there's going to be maybe a lot more responsibility on the big left armer than previously.
Yeah, huge. Particularly for him, you know, trying to fill those boots, as you said, of Sam Cook. But I think he can do it. He didn't bowl a huge amount last year. I remember doing a lot of blast games here.
That's right.
And he was smashing it out of the ground, but he wasn't bowling a huge amount. So you know, he's a great bowler. He's always been a good bowler, so it's actually nice to see him this year being utilised by Essex. I'm sure he'll relish this opportunity. You know, they're sitting third in the table, Essex, so they'll be full of confidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, the big left armer will be with another left armer, of course, in Dan Sams. So see how that mix works. For the Spitfires, well, just one change. We knew that Freddie Klaassen did a hamstring earlier on in the week, so they bring Joey Everson in his stead. We're expecting Everson to bat a little bit higher maybe, but we shall see how Sam Billings sets it up. By the way, Billings won the toss and Kent are going to bowl first, which seems to be de rigueur for most teams that win the toss here at the Cloud County Ground. Let's take a look at the table that Kath just mentioned. There it is. And Essex, as you can see, with 14 points now from the 10 games. Kent, well, they really up their game since that defeat at Canterbury to Essex at the beginning of the month. It looks like it's a bit of a must-win for Kent, and it would be very handy for Essex. Of course it would. Yeah, we were saying at the start of the game, weren't we, that, you know, this is a big game for both sides. It potentially Essex could secure a qualification place today if they do go on and win, which being non-biased as we're sitting here in Essex shirts, we hope they do. But Kent, this is a big game for them. They need to win tonight, otherwise they could see themselves potentially out of this competition, and a competition they've been very successful in over the last few years. So that's something they won't want to go out of at this stage, that's for sure. Yeah, champions in 2021, Kent, of course, as they were 14 years prior to that. So, yeah, they have a history and a heritage to maintain. Of course they do. It's been difficult since that victory over Somerset, wasn't it, in the final at Edgbaston 2 years ago. They really struggled last season to defend their crown. Bottom of the South Group, only had 3 wins, so they're looking to bounce back. No question about that. For Essex, well, the run of 5 wins gives you momentum. But as we know, Kath, in this tournament, momentum can be very short-lived because the games come so quickly, thick and fast, and before you know it, things can happen. Yeah, they absolutely can, and you can have a few injuries, or, you know, as we've seen and spoken about already tonight, Sam Cook having to rest for this game. It just shows you how relentless this competition is at the moment for everybody in county cricket. But, you know, it makes it exciting as well because anything's possible. We saw such an exciting test match this week with the Ashes, and it feels a little bit like that this tournament. Yeah. Anything can happen at any stage. So it was just on Kent, actually. Fred Klaassen not playing tonight is a big loss for them, I think. He's been such a good bowler for them this year. Their most economical bowler with 7 wickets in 5 matches, but his economy is the thing that's impressed me. 7.63 is economy. So Essex might think, yeah, we've lost Sam Cook, but equally Kent have lost Fred Klaassen as well. Yeah, there's an imbalance there, isn't there? Because don't forget, there's no Kane Richardson. Wes Agar is in for his countrymen once again. Michael Hogan, you know, Hogan, we know what Hogan's about and how good a bowler he is. We've seen him in Glamorgan's colours for many a season. And Grant Stewart would be the third paceman in the Spitfires attack this evening. So there's a balance to it. George Linder, of course, the slow left arm, will have something to say, particularly in the middle overs, you'd expect. I'm just fascinated to see how the Essex bowling attack works its way out, and there's plenty of options, we know that, but I think there's fewer options than maybe we've seen before. That's my gut feel. Yeah, I think Simon Harmer as captain, you know, they're going to have a game plan going into this contest, and they'll know exactly what bowlers they want to bowl when. But it's also about having that flexibility, isn't it, as a captain, to go, what's the situation on the ground at the moment and who do I need to bring on? And you can never predict T20 cricket. I know we have these statisticians and lots going on in cricket now, but sometimes it is just trusting your gut instinct and living in the moment as a captain. And I think it's hard for you, the fans, to actually hold on to that resilience, that belief that things can change so quickly. It's, you know, not an easy thing supporting any cricket team in T20. because you know there's another game tomorrow, there's another game at the weekend, and before you know it, things have flipped upside down, both good and bad.
Yeah, and as you said, as a player you can't be on that roller coaster. Yeah. You have to kind of
find the middle line.
Yeah, you got to be through the middle of it all and think, this is our game plan, this is how we want to play this tournament, and stick with it, because ultimately that's how you're going to win games of cricket, is by trusting what you've trained and the kind of tactics around the game.
Don't forget, after this game, Essex have 3 more games in the regular season of this year's Vitality Blast. So Hampshire away tomorrow night, going to the home of the champions is always going to be a tough task down at the Ageas Bowl. They got Middlesex here, what's today, Thursday, tomorrow week.
30th, I think.
Yeah, so that's the final home game in the regular part of the season anyway, and then they finish at the Oval. So, you know, you'd expect to beat Middlesex, because they've unfortunately had such a poor season. But Hampshire and Surrey, in the top 4, that is going to be a tough task to get an awful lot out of that. We shall see it, as we've seen before. Momentum can be a very important thing within the groups to go into these final games and dictate who is going to have the home quarter final. Which of course can be such a huge advantage to any team. Umpires, haven't been the umpires for you. Ben Debenham and Rob Bailey are our umpires, familiar faces. Match referee Sarah Bartlett, one of your old mates. I think she's match refereeing her first T20 Blast game. Do you know any?
I didn't ask her. I was too busy catching up about other things.
Coffee morning on the square.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, Sarah Bartlett has obviously umpired a huge amount in the women's game, so it's great to see her here tonight. I played a lot of county cricket with her, and we've had a lot of funny moments, I'll just put it that way.
Now, well, it's great to see female representation on the officiating side as well as we're seeing it on the playing side. So congratulations to Sarah for getting her first debut officiating as match referee here this evening. Well, outside the stands are beginning to fill. We're told it's nigh on a sellout, so it probably will be a late fill, being a weekday evening. You'd expect that, wouldn't you, with people getting here from work. But the forecast, it was raining about 5:30. We had a shower, fairly heavy shower came through, necessitated the covers on to cover the strip. But it's been dry since 6 really, so I don't see that the weather is going to play into any particular factor in this one as we get set for the start of round number 11 for these two teams. We've got Essex up against the Kent Spitfires, a battle of the bridge, always captivating. Right, let's get set to go pitch side, and we'll join Josh Ward on the mic.
to just add to what the community department do already, which is fantastic. And we're joined this evening by members from Great Tottenham Cricket Club, and we've also obviously got the Chelmsford Super Ones here as well, forming our Guard of Honour. So Bradley, keep up the great work. Thank you for sharing your story. You can find out more information by going to essexcricket.org.uk. You'll be able to get all of the information there about the programme. Bradley, keep up the good work. Thanks again. Well, our bell ringer this evening is Rachel Butler. Rachel's a trustee of the Essex and Southend Sports Trust. This local charity for sport makes grants to recreational cricket in Essex and East London and continues to play a fundamental role in the development of young talent and opportunity for participation across the county and East London. Rachel is the daughter of the late Peter Butler, who founded the Trust, with a long history of supporting the club and sport in the region, and has recently helped with funding to support the fantastic work carried out by the club in the community already. Rachel, please do ring that bell. Umpires to the field.
So Rob Bailey and Ben Debenham stepping out into familiar territory for both of them, as do the two Essex openers, Dan Lawrence and Feroz Kushi, looking to establish Essex in more than they did 3 days ago against Somerset. Lawrence in particular, well, we saw that very good 50 at Lords, 53 off 30, but apart from that, 22 against Hampshire and 19 against Sussex does not really tell the tale of his talents, so hopefully he can get himself in a bit this evening. There's Joe Denley, another familiar face in these parts, of course, with plenty of history here at the Cloud County Ground, not least that 120 odd that he scored in the massive opening partnership back in 2017 with that man, Daniel Bell-Drummond. It was a world record at that point. I'm not sure whether it still is now, but special moments in their memories and Kent Spitfires fans' memories as well. But now we're into the 2023 version, and a new day dawns, a new page of history. Michael Pepper looking on, waiting to see how this one is going to play out. If you're just joining us, a very good evening to you. I'm Simon Ward, alongside me Kath Dalton, and here we go. Where's Agar bowling to Feroz Kushi. Just looking to see whether there was a call there from the umpire. I don't think there was there? It was Rob Bailey at this near end.
It was a tentative look back, wasn't there?
By
Wes Agar. I wasn't sure whether he was saying, did you mean to hit that for six, or was there a slight nick on that one?
Well, that's something with Feroz Kushi, young man that he is, turns 24 tomorrow. But he certainly tries to get things off at a lick. Agar, of course, in for his countryman Kane Richardson, who has a side strain.
Yeah, he's looking to hit hard back of a length there, isn't he, to start with, on this kind of surface. We know Chelmsford isn't the biggest ground, but obviously he's not looking for the ball to swing too much straight away there. He's hitting hard back of a length to Feroz, because he knows he's aggressive, I think, to start with.
No easy swings as yet. Now, Kushi gets things underway.
Yeah, nice little guided shot down to third there to start. You always want to build your innings up. I know as an opening pair, you want to build establish that partnership to start with and get your team off to a good start in this power play, which is sometimes a little bit difficult, isn't it, if you're lacking that confidence.
Lawrence to face his first delivery. Oh, nice. Agar gets it past the outside edge. Yeah, the power play tends to wreak a certain pressure onto the opening batters, the opening 3 or 4, doesn't it? Sometimes it can get too frenetic, and we've seen that particularly with Dan Lawrence, who, you know, seems to try and hit the skin off the ball in the opening over without really getting his eye in. I guess there's got to be a balance between the two.
Yeah, 100%. There always has to be a balance, doesn't there, in T20 cricket?
Lawrence playing a lot more controlled in the opening 2 balls than we've seen previously, so maybe he's had a rethink on the...
Maybe he's been listening to us, Simon, that's what it is. He's
on,
got us in his ear, he's thinking, right, they're telling me to just sit in and read the pitch to start with. And
if he was listening to me, I'd hate to think what he was thinking. Good opening over from Wes Agar, last ball coming up. Just onto the pads, and how many times do we see an over destroyed by a final ball boundary? Well, it's not destroyed because just 5 runs from it, and in reality I suspect Kent will be quite happy with that, but a far more controlled opening from the Essex openers. Yeah,
as you said, it can be destroyed with the last ball, and this was just pure timing from Dan Lawrence, just a flick of his legs, a poor ball actually by a guy. Be disappointed to finish the over like that, because he was going back of the length the majority of that over, and was bowling tidily. Had a few false shots by Lawrence as well, and then obviously that last ball just going for 4 is a bit of a gut punch for him.
So Sam Billings opting to start early with his spinner. George Linder is going to be straight into the attack from the river end. So man out at square, just bring him square in fact, to allow Bell-Drummond to go on the other side of umpire Rob Bailey. In fact, he's going to go to mid-wicket. So a man at mid-wicket and a man at deep mid-off. Those are the 2 outside runners for the power play. Lind to Kushi. Getting Kushi almost on length there.
Yeah, a little bit on length, wasn't it? I think with the field set, you probably expect him to go a little bit fuller than that first ball. He's obviously just gone a little bit more back of the length. Look, a bit of bounce in this surface as well, Simon, that we've seen so far.
Well, won't see much bounce off that. It's gone straight up in the air. And that is a really good take from Wes Agar. Well, Kushi goes early once again. Just never really got to the pitch of the second ball from George Linder. And once again, Essex are a man down early doors.
Yeah, massively disappointing for Feroz Kushi there. He walks off looking very disappointed with himself. I think that ball was there to hit, actually. We see it here on the replay. It did look like it was just pitched up a little bit further. He just mistimed the shot here. And it was a great catch. I mean, Wes Agar was running backwards from the inner ring, and a good pair of hands there, and has to pull out the full length dive just to make it look a little bit more special.
Well, you would have put money on Jordan Cox coming in for that one with the directions. That one was going in, but yeah, good catch from the Australian and a good start from the visitors. Michael Pepper in. Pepper, of course, had a very dominant performance against Kent in this game last season.
Yeah, he did, and he's a seriously talented player. I remember watching him last year in the Blast. Incredible hitter of a cricket ball if he can get himself in here. Again, back of the length, Simon. Just trying to bowl it into the surface.
That's obviously going to be the strategy from the South African slow left armour. This is the same hybrid track that's been used 2 or 3 times now. Certainly was used on Monday against Somerset. So it is a used strip. Nice tight line from George Linder.
Yeah, they're just building pressure here, Kent, aren't they? They've got nobody out on the offside. Even though he's bowling back of a length, they're still struggling to pierce the gap, the Essex batters, but very good start here by Kent.
Pepper picks it up, deposits it over extra cover for 4. So once again, as in the first over, a boundary to finish things off, but plaudits so far to the Kent opening attack. The plus from an Essex perspective, I guess, is the patience that seems to be shown. Apart from that shot from Kushi, it has been very much aware of what's happening and what's coming off the track.
Yeah, I think when an opening pair of bowlers are bowling well at you, you sometimes do have to absorb that little bit of pressure, as we were saying before. But that was a wonderful shot by Michael Pepper over extra cover. They often say that a lofted drive over extra cover is the hardest shot, and he played that off the back foot very nicely.
Hogan gets his first chance of the game.
We know what to expect with him, don't we?
No surprises when Michael Hogan comes on. The Australian has done such a good job over the years, over the bridge, different bridge of course, over there for Glamorgan. Now on a 1-year contract with Kent, which includes, I'm told, some coaching in the One Day Cup coming up. Banging it into the surface. Lawrence thinks about 2, but opts for safety.
Yeah, he's been wonderful. I mean, watched him for so long in this format of cricket. Hogan, he's just such a good bowler. You know exactly what you're getting from him. Every time he has the ball in his hand, you know he's going to be attacking. He's going to hit back of a length. He's going to make it very, very difficult for batters to settle. So, I mean, I was reading that he's now 40, Simon, which made me feel quite young. Made me feel quite good about him. 42, is he?
19 wickets already in this campaign. Pepper goes for that little, well, it's not a ramp, but it looks, the bat angle is a ramp, and that's confidence.
Oh, it is. I mean, he's a very confident young player, is Michael Pepper. That was a wonderful shot, actually. Again, under a little bit of pressure, but, you know, Michael Pepper doesn't feel pressure, does he? He just plays these shots at ease. It's one of his signature shots, isn't it? I think Hogan saw him and tried to adjust his line and length and couldn't do so quickly enough.
Well, how's Hogan going to come back after that? Well, Pepper goes down it and slams it through extra cover. That came straight in our direction and hardly left the turf.
That was a wonderful shot. We talk about power hitting in T20 cricket. This was, again, full of timing. Just use his feet to make a little bit of room through extra cover region, and no way Joe Denley was getting a hand on that. That was a cracking shot by Michael Pepper. Oh.
Again, the scoop just evades the fielder for 4. Well, Michael Pepper once again showing just how good he can be.
Just very clever batting, Simon, isn't it, by Michael Pepper?
Yep.
Again, using that scoop shot, he's almost double bluffing the bowler and reading them very well. Hogan went a little bit too full there and it allowed Pepper just to get enough elevation on it for it to go to the boundary.
Well, Hogan's been bowling with an economy rate of just over 8 so far this season. He's already gone for 17 now. And yet again, every over of the Essex innings has finished with the boundary.
It has indeed, and not the best of timed shots by Pepper at the back end of that over, but almost a carbon copy. 2 balls and then 2 balls. He went scoop and then used a little bit of room over extra cover, and he did that on the last ball as well, just trying to get a little bit of room to open up that offside because there's nobody out on the cover boundary. So even if you don't time it perfectly, you're probably going to get a couple. It's not often we see Hogan going for 17 in his first over, Simon, is it?
No, that's something of a rarity, I would think. Linda went for 4 off his with that wicket from Kushi into his second. And, Lawrence playing far more circumspectly than he has done in previous T20 games.
Pepper at the other end, 20 off 8. That kind of relieves a little bit of pressure off Lawrence here.
Reverse sweep is balled out, maybe a somewhat fortuitous inside edge to get another boundary.
It's amazing how much these players back themselves now on these types of shots, isn't it? Just see them playing it with such ease. I know we was maybe a bottom edge here from Dan Lawrence, but enough of it to get to this short boundary on straight side.
He's done it again. Oh, tough lines. That was Grant Stewart desperately trying to get there to pull it back, but 2 edges off the bat of Dan Lawrence, inside and outside. As the old saying goes, you pay for all of it, so why not use all of it?
I'm not sure Dan Lawrence is paying for any of his bats, actually.
Maybe not. But you get the thought.
It says 4 in the book, so that's all we need to know.
Again using his feet, and this time puts it up for the first maximum of the evening, 6 to Dan Lawrence. And having had a look for the first 2 overs, Lawrence now takes the handbrake off.
Yeah, he certainly has, hasn't he, in this over. He's gone 3 4s consecutively, and this is a great shot. Just shuffles down the wicket, uses those wrists. We see him play that shot so many times, haven't we, over his Essex career.
Dot ball will be a blessed relief for George Linder, having seen those 3 boundaries, but still reasonable figures at 1 for 18. But here comes the blessed final ball. Well, does well to come back with those 2 dots, but Essex will consider that a successful over with 14 from it. You can see both batters now will feel in, and 40 for 1 off 4. That's power play stats so far.
Yeah, great recovery actually from the first 2 overs we saw, where Feroz Kushi and Dan Lawrence were struggling a little bit with the opening. 2 overs of the game, but as we said in T20 cricket, although it is fast and that a lot happens and can change very quickly, just give yourself that little bit of time as an opener. You can catch up, and exactly what Dan Lawrence did in that last over, hitting those three fours. He's caught up his run rate, and he looks absolutely fine now, doesn't he, Simon?
I think that third four actually managed to clear the rope, because as I look at the Tom Pearce stand, the rope is in a good metre.
Yeah, sorry, apologies.
From
the 6.
So yeah, 3 boundaries doing Lawrence well, and Pepper slams it out, and that is an easy wicket straight to Jordan Cox. And Michael Pepper, having opened up in that last over, once again goes relatively cheaply, caught by Jordan Cox off the bowling of Agar for 20.
Oh, he looks massively disappointed, doesn't he? He was hitting them so clean. His scoot shots were excellent today. This is a kind of nothing dismissal for Michael Pepper, but fair play to Wes Agar. It was just a short, nothing delivery, wasn't it? And when you hit it in the air aerially to Jordan Cox, you're probably going to be out. Massively disappointing for him.
Yeah, that's a cheap wicket, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, any bowler, any respectable bowler will say, yeah, I'll take that, but he didn't bowl for it, shall we say. Robin Das will come into the mix. Young man quickly finding his feet in this format of the game. Had that big performance on Monday.
And in a difficult situation, wasn't it? When he came in with Paul Walter, so Robin Das, that's 72, wasn't it? 39 deliveries.
Agar testing him out with a slightly shorter delivery, but Das unable to connect.
Yeah, Dan Lawrence is just having a little chat to him there.
Yeah, well, Lawrence, only 25 years of age himself, but in experience, light years in front of Robin Das. Das picks him up, puts him out to the cover boundary. This is where Dan Lawrence will be expected to just take the responsibility of this partnership, certainly in the early stages, taking his guard again to make sure that he's not lost position. The picture hasn't changed with the Australian Agar coming into him. Slower ball. Agar brought in for the county championship really till the end of July, but this now his 4th T20 appearance.
Yeah, he started the innings very well, hasn't he, here? Wes Agar picking up a wicket, but only conceding 6 runs so far. He'll be pleased with how he's bowled against Dan Lawrence, who's, you know, seriously experienced player.
Lawrence picks him up.
Oh.
Well, that's unusual to see a mistake of that ilk. Tawanda Mayai just being caught out by the spin of this one. How many times a boundary field has been told, watch the spin?
He didn't watch it on that occasion, that's for sure.
Good over from Agar. 5 runs off it, but the wicket of Michael Pepper to start things, and Kent pushing back in the 5th over of this power play. 45 for 2 now, the hosts.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, Simon, this is going to be crucial for Dan Lawrence to stay around with, as we've said, with all his experience in international cricket and playing across the world. He needs to kind of stand up here this evening and make sure he's there for a long period of time in this Essex innings. Wes Agar, really impressed with him this evening. He's bowled back of a length, he's mixed up his pace, he's bowled really well.
Yep. So the Italian international, Grant Stewart, Comes in for the first time in this game. Puts it in the slot, and Dash chips it back over his head. I don't think he's got enough, or has he? Yes, he has. Of course he has. So, boundary off the first ball of Stewart's first over.
Yeah, it was just in the slot, wasn't it? Slightly over pitch first delivery. If there's such a thing as a loosener these days, that looked like a little bit of a loosener. Robin Dash just hit that directly straight, wasn't it? Very difficult to stop those as a fielding side.
Now Dash just nonchalantly picks him up off his pads and puts him over the square leg boundary. Well, we talk about building an innings, and of course it's a congested idea in the this format of the game. But Dash certainly seems to be applying himself very quickly to the requirements of the T20 format. Just see that erring towards leg side. Now it's Dash who heads that direction. Just pick up a single.
Actually, that last four by Robin Dash actually forced a field change. They brought cover up, and a deep square leg went back. So he has to bowl straight here. He's got no other option. Grant Stewart, he can't go outside off stump at all, especially to someone like Dan Lawrence, who's so good at manipulating the ball where he wants it. He has to go straight here, force him to hit the leg side boundary.
Sam Billings threw it up in, I think, mock celebration. I'm sure Lawrence and Billings are old mates, certainly from the England camps, of course. Just a few words between them. The big smile says it all.
Keepers, eh? Always got that little cheeky side, haven't they?
Yeah. Sam Billings, one of the most popular characters on the circuit, I think. Stewart just pulling it back off a length there.
Yeah, a slower ball, I think, into the surface as well by Grant Stewart there. As I said, with those two sweepers on the leg side boundary, has to go straight. Can't afford to give any width here to Robin Dash or Dan Lawrence.
Stewart, 15 wickets so far, working at an economy of 9 on the spot. Oh, Dash picks him up, but he's put him straight to the fielder. And once again, Essex committing harry-carry in the power play. Yes, you have to roll the dice. Yes, you have to go for it, but it's not paying off as the third wicket goes down.
Sorry, Simon, I just don't think that was the right shot to play. As I was saying, there were two sweepers on that leg side. He was looking to bowl to the trap, and that's exactly what Robin Dash unfortunately did. After his wonderful knock here the other day, he'll be again disappointed with how he's got out here. It was a sort of tame shot. Didn't really hit through it, maybe just stopped slightly in the surface on him. Didn't look to give that any kind of power. Simple catch in the deep. Brings another wicket for Kent, and that just piles on the pressure, doesn't it? Every time Essex lose a wicket, it's just pressure on the next incoming batter.
Well, these two have got experienced heads on top of those, well, in Paul Walter's case, tall bodies. So there'll be no sense of panic, and that's something that everybody seems to have learnt now from 20 over format. It's as long as you want it to be. You don't think of it, oh my God, we've got to play catch up now. You're only in the 7th over.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it. Paul Walter, who's been unbelievable in this format of cricket for Essex over the last couple of years. He can hit a long cricket ball, and as we said earlier, he can definitely catch up.
Everson going to come in from the Hayes Close end. Back in the side now, in the absence of Fred Klassen, his 6th T20 game of the season.
Joined on loan from Notts as well last year, didn't he?
Yeah. And made a good impression. Lawrence quite getting his foot through it, but ball squirts out towards the cover boundary in any case. Yeah, Everson, more importantly now, I suppose, with Matt Milnes having gone to Yorkshire, an important slot to be filled from Sam Billings. Now, of course, the left-handed bat.
Yeah, Paul Walter causing a lot of field change there for Sam Billings to organise.
Everson coming around the wicket to try and yeah, Walter just saying that one came up a bit further than I was expecting.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of bounce, didn't we, in the early stages of this game, from the spinners in particular. And Wes Agar was getting a little bit of carry through. Two good stops there actually by Joan Denley at backward point. They've actually just put him on the boundary now as well. They just said to him, go back. It seems like Paul Walter doesn't mind hitting that late cut shot. Ooh.
Everson just straying out of line, and Rob Bailey really having no choice but to flap his wings on that one. Paul Walter got that half century on Monday off 27 balls with 5 sixes in there. My goodness me, they were big sixes from memory as well.
I think there's a chat here about whether that actually hit the cut strip. Dan Lawrence was convinced it didn't. I think it did. It was just, I think the umpires were just consulting each other there. How often do you see that, Simon?
Everson to Walter. Walter, oh, just gets it over the head of Bell-Drummond. I think he got a hand to it.
Yeah, he certainly did. It was a great effort. Great effort by Bell-Drummond. Almost took an absolute flyover catch here.
Yeah, he did. Oh, sorry, DBD, but that must go down as a missed chance, I think.
The statisticians are writing.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity right now.
Yeah, it's just got a feeling the early pace in this track, Dan Lawrence querying with Rob Bailey, was the wide given?
I don't think he gave that wide, but I'm not sure why.
Original position, I'm guessing? Or is it from where he was? Dan Lawrence is a bit confused, but play continues. Try and make it 2 and should do fairly easily. Good opening over from Everson as well, with just the 5 runs coming from it.
You can see Dan is still not happy about that wide, is he? He's going, that's a dot ball that I wanted to score off. He looks a little bit disappointed in that one. It was a mixed over, wasn't it? It was a ball that nearly landed off the strip. Not a huge amount went on in that over. But a rebuild, as we said earlier, needs to happen between these two. There needs to be a big partnership between Dan Lawrence and Paul Walter.
And especially now with Sam Billings using his 6th bowler, we see it so often so that the captains have the flexibility further down the line. And Jack Leaning's off spin being brought into play, especially against the left-hander, confusing Walter with the pace off the pitch for that one.
Yeah, he did, and this is great captaincy by Billings. Mixing up his bowlers, making it difficult for the Essex batters to settle out the power play field spread.
Yeah, for the most part, the Kent bowlers have been quite canny with their lengths. And, I don't see the Essex batsmen having got into a regular groove, at least.
No, they haven't, and you know, for this over so far, they're just trying to work a couple of singles, wait for that bad delivery or that one you can pounce on, and Dan Lawrence just looks like he's just settling into his innings here a little bit more.
Singles off every ball, but in the 8th over you would expect a little bit more. Certainly from the start of the former Yorkshire off-spinners. Sam Billing looked like he was doing some sort of weird dance there. He's got through and he's got him. Leaning's got his man. Essex lose their 4th wicket, and once again no partnership being able to stabilise this Essex innings, as formative as it is in the first half. Inside the 8th over, and Walter goes LBW to Leaning.
And this is just pressure, isn't it? It's just build up of pressure from Kent. They've bowled really well, they've bowled to their plans. Essex haven't really had a response to it so far. Excuse me, but it's been challenging. Matt Critchley comes out, we know how good he can be, but pressure by Kent, and wickets just tumbling at regular intervals here for Essex. Kent will be delighted with how they've started this game, but on the Essex perspective, they'll be very disappointed. They almost look a little bit shocked at how they've been playing. Dan Lawrence is still there. Matt Critchley's a serious player. They can rebuild from here, but fair play to Kent. They've really started this game well.
Well, Leaning's only taken 4 wickets in the opening half dozen innings that he's bowled thus far. Make that 5 from 7. And it's been a very interesting opening over from the off spinner. Now bowling to the Essex leg spinner. Another good opening over from one of the visiting bowlers. 1 for 4 from Jack Leaning.
Yeah, brilliant over by Jack Leaning. He'd be really happy jogging back to his fielding position after that over. Picked up a crucial wicket in Paul Walter, who we know can hit big sixes, particularly on this ground. He's done it so many times, hasn't he, over the years, Paul Walter. But a very good over from Kent again, and it just feels like the pressure just keeps building every over on the Essex batters, and we need an answer. I think you need to, at some point, somebody needs to just throw the bowlers off their lengths, change their game plan. At the moment, everything's going Kent's way.
Everson is going to remain in the attack for now. From the Hayes Close end, he'll be bowling to Matt Critchley. Critchley been batting really well this season, averaging just under 29. That top score of 63 not out against Kent in Canterbury, of course.
Just going to pick up on the Kent seamers. That they've looked to get the ball to shape back into the right-handers more often than not. Even if it's not coming off the surface, it's not swinging, it seems to be seaming off the surface a little bit and then just nipping back, and it's surprising the Essex batters a little bit.
Certainly been very little width to speak of. It's been disciplined bowling from the visiting pack.
Yeah, nothing complicated, just hitting that hard back of a length, making it very difficult for the Essex batters to create room. The only one was Michael Pepper, who was really dancing around the crease a little bit more.
Again, cuts it back in, and Critchley just goes, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, again, as we just said, coming back in, and Dan Lawrence walking down, having a little chat to him. It's another brilliant another brilliant delivery. That did nip back a long way, actually.
Critchley just going for a wander down the pitch, but still unable to get anything away. 4 dot balls from Joey Everson so far.
I think that's what he needs to do here, Simon. I think he needs to use his feet. He needs to really get out the length that Kent have been bowling. Can't just sit back and let them control, dominate that space. You have to do something a little bit differently as a batter.
Critchley scurrying through for a single, just to break the run of dot balls, but it's not going to be enough to keep the scoreboard operator particularly busy.
No, it's not, is it? Critchley's come in 2 off 6 deliveries so far. We see him normally going at a lot higher strike rate than this. And Dan Lawrence, who was quiet to begin with in his innings, then got on with it a little bit more and now has been quietened by the Kent bowlers.
Lawrence gets a very fortuitous boundary to finish off. And that's a very good over from Everson. Just 21 years of age, so a man on the up, you would think. But Essex really struggling. Well, you know all about scoring runs against Kent, didn't you? Have a look at this.
Oh, goodness me.
Had they cut the grass on the track, or is that just behind you?
Oh, you wouldn't believe the amount of boundaries I had to hit in that long grass.
A century for Kath Dalton for Essex against Kent this week or last week?
It was on Saturday, yeah.
It was on Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I hope you bought all the jugs that were required.
Always.
No avoidance.
I've always got my hand in my pocket, that's for sure.
Right, Lind back in to the attack. Critchley facing. Oh, Critchley is going to get away with that one. Mistimed as it was, he's even going to get a boundary out of it. Strong left arm from Matt Critchley because his right arm wasn't on the bat.
Great one-handed hit, wasn't it? If you can control your top hand that well. Obviously a miss hit here from Critchley, but great to see him trying to use his feet, do something a little bit different, just opening up the offside. It's not been a huge amount for this Essex crowd to cheer about so far, has there, Simon?
Certainly not. The opening half of this Essex innings has had a few flares of excitement, but no more than that.
It's probably the quietest I've seen them.
Yeah. I know it's Thursday, perhaps they're waiting for Friday. Again, Critchley unable to get the shape of the shot even before making the connection. The boy from Cape Town doing a good job for his adopted team, and puts one past the edge. Did that have turn? I think it probably did.
Yeah, Critchley again trying to open up that offside. He knows there's space because the cover fielder is quite square, so he's trying to hit that straight, but not successful so far.
Yeah, there was a
nice
turn
bit
on
of turn.
that.
It's brilliant bowling. Brilliant bowling by Kent. Bowling to their fields, making it very difficult.
Final ball of this 10th over. Well, very, very impressive first half bowling from the visitors. Essex 75 for 4 at the halfway point.
Yeah, it's just been a bit of a timid innings so far. halfway through this game. As you said, Simon, Essex haven't really got going. There's been some good shots by Dan Lawrence and Michael Pepper, probably the two standout performers so far for Essex, but Kent, everyone who's come on for Kent has done a job and bowled to their field really well. Just hit back of a length, and it's been very, very difficult for any Essex player so far to have an answer to. But you know, we're only halfway through this innings. Anything can happen at the back end of a T20 game.
So Critchley on strike once again. Everson bowling once again.
You said he was 21, is that correct?
Yep.
Young bowler. Lots of pressure on you, you know, when you're a young player trying to break into a team, trying to establish yourself as a professional player. He's bowled really well this evening so far.
Goes full, but it's only for the single.
Until the commentators curse where he bowls a
full bunger.
a leg stump full toss. Luckily he had the sweeper out there to protect him.
Everson already represented England at under 19 level, very much an all-rounder. Now, facing Dan Lawrence. Well, I think it's safe to say that we're not going to get a 200 score out of this one.
Absolutely not. It doesn't.
The way that this pitch is working.
Yeah, you know, we always say that you have to see what a pitch is like when both sides have played on it, and if someone like Dan Lawrence, someone of his calibre is struggling, then you know it's not easy out there.
Critchley trying to open his shoulders, but again getting an inside edge.
Just thinking, when was the last genuine boundary by Essex? I know it was a thick outside edge by Lawrence a few overs ago, but there hasn't really been a controlled four.
Well,
and Critchley was a one-handed shot.
It was a one-hander. Lawrence just waiting on that one. Good work from leaning on the cover boundary, keeping it to 2. Sun now beginning to come out. The lights have been on for a while, of course.
Yeah, it was well weighted for it. Exactly what you said. A slower ball into the surface, off cutter. It was well cut off on the boundary rope.
Final ball. Lawrence comes across. And it's gone down to long leg off his pad, but that is a very good bowling spell from Everson. 3 overs now, 0 for 15, compared to his average throughout this tournament of double that. He'll be very satisfied, as will Sam Billings now, because Kent really in charge of this inning, it would appear, and Essex struggling to break the shackles.
Yeah, they certainly are on there. And Sam Billings has mixed up his bowlers really well. If someone's been bowling well, she's kept them on for another over. It's been very impressive to see. I think we've got Joe Denley coming on next.
Yep.
We've got depth in this bowling side, and it's surprising how they did start this competition, Kent, but from how they're bowling this evening, it's no surprise on the run of form that they've been on recently.
So Joe Denley's leg spinners being brought out, and a bit of turn there on the right, grin from Lawrence as well. They will have played together many a time, of course.
It was a very slow delivery, wasn't it, by Joe Denley? I think that's what Dan Lawrence was laughing at a little bit.
Goes half bunger, and that's, who's that, Jordan Cox? Well, need I ask? It's the boy from Felsted School.
He must have learnt that at Felsted, eh?
Oh, well, do you remember his performance? Was it in the final when he leapt to keep the ball in, and I think Matt Milnes made the catch?
Yeah, he's an incredible fielder, isn't he, Jordan Cox?
schoolmate of Will Buttleman. So two old mates, friends reunited on this one. Full bunger from Denley, and the full retribution taken out by Critchley.
Yeah, massive relief, I think, for Matt Critchley here. Strike rate has been poor so far this evening. He's really struggled. He's been trying to find an answer by moving around in the crease and hasn't really. A welcome gift from Joe Denley, and deposits that over the leg side boundary for 6.
Leggy. And Essex hustling for the second.
Brilliant running. I don't think I'd ever be that fast between the wickets, Simon.
You would if you were on 98. I'll bet you.
Maybe in a car, I would be that fast.
So 12 off the Denley over.
Yeah, much needed, wasn't it? From an Essex perspective. As the batters just take a little drinks break here, and it's still warm out there. Even despite the rain shower we had at about 5:30, it's still warm. This evening it's muggy.
If you're in Simon Harmer's boots or Anthony McGrath's boots, what's your target, do you think, looking at now? 93 for 4, 8 overs left.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because obviously Critchley has only just got himself up to a run of ball in that last over off Joe Denley. It's not been easy at all for either batters. It's not going to be a massive score, is it? I mean, 175, 180 would be probably fairly decent from here.
They'll be happy with, you would think, going at just under 8 and over at the moment. Well, Everson's going for 6 there. That is a great pick-up from Critchley. Going a long, long way.
Someone in the flats, I think's caught that one. Bringing back the shopping.
Well, Everson, who's been bowling such a good line and length, drops one short. And as in the last over when Denley gave a full bunger 6 to Critchley, he's made the most of it.
Oh.
Going again. Well, Everson, who'd been bowling so well for 3 overs, now suddenly has lost his line and length, and we've gone to the new ball bag already.
That's a fantastic hit, wasn't it, by Matt Critchley into the crowd. It's given them something to cheer about. They've been waiting, the sun's finally come out, and a few 6s are now raining.
Young fans really enjoying their time at the Cloud County Ground. Final match, of course, next, final home game against Middlesex, sold out, we're told, next Friday. Just a single on that one. One Day Cup, of course, will be beginning of August. Thursday the 3rd against Notts Outlaws will be Essex' first game. They've got a family day here on Sunday the 13th of August against Yorkshire Vikings. If you're in the area, make sure you get online. Discount on your tickets at essexcricket.org.uk. Lawrence chassing down the track but unable to make contact.
In fact, interestingly enough, since that drinks break, there's been a completely different approach by these Essex batters. We saw Matt Critchley getting a hold of a few 6s there at the beginning of this over, and Dan Lawrence getting a little bit more aggressive in his approach.
Something in the squash. Dan Lawrence had signalled that for well before Rob Bailey had. And Everson trying to second guess the Essex opener.
I think he's got his retirement plan sorted, Dan Lawrence. When he eventually retires, he looks like he wants to be an umpire. That was well wide, wasn't it, though? And that shows you what pressure can do to a bowler if you do assert yourself on them. Oh!
Wow. When that was hit, it stayed hit, right?
Goodness me, he hit that hard, didn't he?
Rob Bailey just thankful that he didn't have to move.
Absolutely crunched this Dan Lawrence.
Listen to the sound. Well, we can't hear it on the replay, but
just imagine the sound.
The crack of the bat. Whack. Again, going straight, and that's the end of Everson's bowling stint, which up to the third over was very good. He's got taken for a few in the final over though, 18 off it. Still, 0 for 34 off his 4 is nothing too bad.
Yeah, he bowled brilliantly, didn't he, those first 3 overs, and then Matt Critchley got hold of the length in that last over. He found it difficult to come back from that. That wide just shows the pressure that he was feeling at the back end of that over. You can see Essex are starting to go for it. They're starting to open up here a bit more.
As a consequence, George Linder is back into the attack. Denley having given up a dozen runs in his opener. Reverse swing brought out, lovely shot from Lawrence. That is classy.
Fantastic shot by Dan Lawrence. As you said, Kent trying to build pressure back on after that last over, and he decides to go for the reverse here, Dan Lawrence. Brilliant switch of his feet and picks the gap perfectly. Brings up a 50 partnership as well for these two.
Important 50 partnership for Essex. Can they extend it now? Well, Dan Lawrence, I'll tell you, has been trying that shot for a long time, because he's had 2 4s now down to exactly the same spot, the outside edge. And the half century up for the England man. Very mixed reception from the Essex fans since the news of his move to the Oval for next season. But doing what he needs to do, another half century.
He's trying to pick that gap again, isn't he, with his reverse between third and backward point. He knows that option is there. We know how successful Dan Lawrence is at his reverse sweeps. But yeah, big move for him, isn't it, to Surrey? Big change.
Certainly is. Wonder who is going to benefit most from the opportunity. The likes of Das and Kushi, of course, have had their moments in the sun and look very, very promising young talents. Whether they will get extended run-outs in that 3 spot, who knows? Oh, that's a gimme. That is such a... Well, again, Dan Lawrence has got into the 50s and his wicket has gone. Hogan, well, apart from the sun in his eyes, really had no problems with that. That was Critchley, I beg his pardon. Critchley's gone. Forgot that single. And Critchley, the 5th wicket down. See Hogan there. Well, Linder gets another wicket. Now, it's going to be a big test now that the likes of Daniel Sams has been there before, seen it, done it.
Yeah, and he's been wonderful form, hasn't he, for Essex so far. 10 innings, 232 runs, at a decent average of 25.77, so it's been a wonderful overseas signing the last 2 summers for Essex.
And particularly, I think this summer has been the all-round package, not just with ball and bat, but also in the field as well.
Yeah, definitely.
He gives everything that he possibly can to Essex. And bowling to the Australian. Slip coming in. Man behind point.
Ooh. They thought about a run there, didn't they?
Well, it's a good recovery from Linda, having gone for 2 fours at the beginning of the over, to come back and snare that wicket of Critchley. And 121 for 5, just over 8.5 and over. Essex going now. And if there's any 2 players now to put their foot on the accelerator, it's those 2.
Absolutely, and Dan Lawrence, 52 of 35 deliveries. He's been out there for a while, hasn't he? He's been out there the whole time, in fact. So he'll know exactly what this pitch is doing. He'll know how to play, and then he'll hopefully know how to accelerate from an Essex perspective here and get them up to a decent total.
Yes, a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Dan Lawrence right now. As I say that, he chips out. Critchley and Lawrence gone in the matter of 3 balls, and Essex once again have the stuffing taken out of their innings.
That's a massive wicket from a Kent perspective. Dan Lawrence just passing 50 runs. As we said, he'd been out there for a while. Looked to hit the accelerator, didn't get enough of it. And a decent catch in the deep, under pressure by the looks of things by the Essex crowd. But Wes Agar picks up another important wicket for Kent. As you said, that just knocks the stuffing out of it, doesn't it, from an Essex perspective? You say he's a Felsted boy, Will Button?
Yep. Buttleman and Cox, both Felstedites. I don't think that's the right name.
Felstedites.
I think it should be, but
I think it is now. Were you a Felstedite?
No, I've played there. Tried to win the case of champagne by hitting the school clock.
I didn't realise that was a thing.
Ahoy.
We played there a few weeks ago, Essex women actually.
Yeah, no, I've played a few club games there. Lovely
ground, yeah.
Oh, absolutely delightful. Now, Sams and Buttleman have to rebuild. After Buttleman, well, it's Harmer, Snater and Nijar. May not be in that particular order, but Essex have got to make sure they bat through the next 5 overs and 4 balls. Whatever the score, they must get through 20 overs. Buttleman gets the driver out, gets the 4 on the board.
Yeah, brilliant shot by Will Butterman. As we said, you know, Essex are going to want to bat their allocated overs. They want to do it successfully as well, and Hogan was up at mid-off. Will Butterman got enough of it to get over his head and go for 4.
It's got a 4. I'm not quite sure that that's in any textbook of any sport, but Will Buttleman improvising beautifully to get bat on ball, and in the end the ball goes straight through mid-on and straight over the boundary. Nothing his old mate Jordan Cox could do about it. Have a look at this.
It's almost a squash forehand, wasn't it?
Yeah. Good comeback from Agar after those 2 boundaries.
But clever batting from Will Butterman. He's obviously seen mid-off up in the ring. He's trying to target this straight boundary. And he knows even if he doesn't get all of it, if it's straight enough, it's going to be very difficult to stop. Wes Agar had to go into the pitch there a little bit more on that delivery.
So Agar's third over, 1 for 9. So 2 for 20 off his 3 overs now for the Australian paceman. There's another Australian paceman coming on the other end, Michael Hogan.
Did you just call him a paceman? I think he'd be quite happy with that.
Well, formerly known as.
Formerly known as a paceman.
Mick Hogan, Crocodile Dundee, coming in to bowl to a youngster at the beginning of his career in Will Buttleman.
Who started very brightly, hasn't he? He's looked very attacking from the get-go.
Into the final quarter of this Essex innings, 130 for 6.
Oh.
Beautifully guided by Buttleman. That was a delicate shot. Plenty of fielders in that sort of vicinity, and found the perfect angle to split all of them. Mayai on the boundary could do nothing about it. He's been pulled back just a bit now to be on point.
Yeah, it was a wonderful shot, wasn't it? Just opened the face, guided it, flew off this surface for 4.
Similar sort of angle, but a different pace from Hogan.
But a good run, actually. Get yourself off strike, keep that scoreboard ticking.
Sams has only faced the solitary ball. Very experienced operator, of course, Daniel Sams, with so many different teams around the world. Going out to Texas, part of the new Major League Cricket season. That'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, rumours have it that it's going to be a pretty big tournament, I think. There's a lot of money going into it as well. Some big names going out to America for that one. It's another slower ball, wasn't it, from Hogan there?
Yeah, I see Stephen Fleming's going to be Sam's head coach, so they've got some big names following big names out there. Big money as well, of course, in that sort of area.
There was all that chat about Jason Roy, wasn't there, and whether he was giving up his ECB contract, and there was a little bit of confusion around that one. Oh.
Buttleman committing to the drive, getting the bat head through good hand speed to put it through that area, and Buttleman just beginning to pick up a bit of momentum within his innings. Just look at that.
As you said, Simon, great hands through the back of this ball, fast hands, got it lofted over the extra cover fielder, and another ball that flies to the boundary off Will Butterman's bat.
Good comeback from Hogan. Where did that bounce from?
He looked a little tired at the back end of that over, didn't he, on his follow-through?
Right grin on his face as well, taking his hat from Ben Debenham. Right, what is Billings going to do now? He's got 4 overs left. Agar's got 1 left. Linda's bowled out. Hogan's got 2. Stewart's got 3, which is often a regular choice. And I think looks like it is going to be Grant Stewart. Everson's bowled out, and Leaning and Denley have bowled 1 each, so it is going to be Stewart from the Hayes Close end.
Yeah, and a good option for Kent really at this stage. They've been in control of this match pretty much from the get-go. It just feels like there's a little spell here. As soon as Will Butterman's come out, a little bit of a change, a little bit of a different feel to the Essex innings so far.
Sams steps into it. Great fielding from Leaning. Gets it at the second attempt, but that is saving 2 runs. Appreciation from his teammates.
And even the Essex crowd clapped that one.
Yeah.
Because that was hit with some force by Dan Sams out to this cover region. Didn't hold anything back, did he, here, Dan Sams? Brilliant diving stop. And had to take 2 dives at it, didn't he?
Got 5.6 for the second dive. Comes back to try and tie Sam's swing up. Sam Billings, lovely guy, really nice man. Such a talented sportsman, it's unreal. Football, rugby, squash, any racket sports, any ball sports, it would appear. He can play at golf as well.
Are you much of a golfer, Simon?
Nah. No, I stick
Only
to
tennis?
Cricket, tennis and baseball, that's my sports.
Baseball?
Oh yeah. Minority sport over here, but
Yeah.
not sure about Italy. Because Stuart has an Italian mother, hence the EU passport, and his now Italian international career. Oh, this is good bowling, and Sam's has gone. Well, Stuart again able to facilitate that Kent bite that Essex have been unable to avoid this evening. Dan Sams dragging himself off the square. Can't believe he got out to that ball. And Grant Stewart comes in to take his second wicket. And Kent now in control of this.
Yeah, every time you feel like Essex get back on top or start to build a partnership, Kent have another answer for them. But another nothing dismissal. I think we've seen quite a few of those this evening by the Essex batters. They haven't really been bowled out per se, but they've got themselves out. They've found a way of getting out. And unfortunately for Essex perspective, at crucial times where they're starting to build a partnership. Dan Sams, I know he didn't score many, but it was flying off his bat when he was connecting. So that's a big wicket from a Kent point of view.
Another one bites the dust for the Eagles. 142 now. 4 wickets left. Just under 4 overs left. Captain Simon Harmer in to face Stewart. Again, just a little bit of movement off the seam there. You wonder, well, you hope the Essex bowlers have been watching this and learning how successful the Kent pack have been.
I'm just thinking how good Sam Cook would be on this surface.
Well, yeah. Essex have gone with the extra spinner and putting Nijar in.
Ooh, chance. Oh.
Well, luckily he knew the fielder that he hit it to with fair.
As I said that, I was trying to
Hogan.
claw back my words once I saw it was Hogan.
Once you saw the number 31. Well, very good bowling once again from Grant Stewart. 2 for 13 now off his couple of overs.
And how many times have we said that this evening? Kent again bowling really well. Everyone, as I said earlier, that has been thrown the ball this evening by Sam Billings has done a job and made it very, very difficult for Essex to kind of get hold of this game.
Agar with his final over.
Change of end as well.
Yep. I can't take it off the straight, so it's a dot. 3 overs now, and every run is going to be vital and invaluable.
Yeah, I think Harmer just needs to get off strike, doesn't he? He needs to get Will Butterman back on strike. He's 18 off 10. He's the man that's been going at 180 strike rate so far this innings. Just need to get him on strike as much as possible at the back end of this innings if Essex are going to get up to a competitive score.
Harmer
saying that,
picks that up. No problems there from the Essex captain. Just what his team needed.
what do I know about cricket? Just hit them like that, Simon Harmer. Fair enough.
Kath, that is the vagaries of this game, isn't it?
True.
The swings,
Yeah.
the to and fro is just continuous.
That's a wonderful strike, wasn't it? By Simon Harmer, almost like a pivot pulled shot out the screws into that crowd. Was it a drop in the crowd as well?
Lot slower ball from Agar.
Right on the wide line as well, wasn't it?
Yep.
Very difficult to hit those. That's well bowled. Do we have catch for £1,000 at Essex, or used to be catch a craw in the IPL, didn't it? Catch for a tenner? How cheap are we here?
I haven't seen anybody. I think it's probably Tesco's reward points. But
catch for a bag of chips.
Yeah. Harmer getting ahead of that shot, but not going through with it.
That's why they drop it here at Essex, isn't it? There's nothing on it. They think, oh, just leave it.
What's the point? We've had 5 sixes now in this Essex innings. Fair few 4s, but the home side need boundaries. No question about that. 5th ball of the 18th over.
Yeah, and dot balls are big at this stage of the game, aren't they?
150 up for the home side, but it's taken a long time to get there. Or it feels like it. It probably isn't, but it does feel like it, because Kent have controlled the flow of this game in so many ways at so many different times.
Yeah, definitely. Made it very difficult for the Essex batters.
Bartleman. Sure it's a 4 or 6. I think it was a 4, yeah. Well, cometh the hour, cometh the Will Bartleman.
Oh, he's playing a crucial knock here, isn't he, for Essex? As we said, everyone else has really struggled. Dan Lawrence got to 52, but Will Butterman, as soon as he came out to bat, he looked like he was playing on a different strip to everybody else. Great hands, great reverse hands through the back of that ball. Almost went for 6, 1 bounce 4. Great aggressive intent. I know Simon Harmer smashed a 6 in the last over, but I keep saying it. Will Butterman needs to get on strike as much as possible at the back end of this innings for Essex.
No question about that. Butterman on his highest score so far in this campaign, only been out once in that Somerset game. So his average continues to move up.
Some very impressive young batters, isn't there, in this Essex lineup?
Stewart to Harmer. Harmer hits hard. Has he got enough on that? Yes, he has. So the Essex captain just dealing in maximums at the moment.
He doesn't want to run, does he, Simon Harmer?
Why waste your time?
Yeah, or your energy. Another 6 for Simon Harmer. Dead straight, this one. Hit the sight screen.
Harmer swinging hard and heavy at everything. That squirts off for a 4. 10 off 2 from Simon Harmer. Trying to push that run rate up, get it nearer to 10.
Crucial runs this at the back end of the innings. I know he's not hit this exactly where he wanted to, but he got enough elevation to go over third to the boundary. And when you swing hard at the back end of the innings. You can get those thick outside edges, and they can race away to the boundary for 4.
Harmer comes down the track. BIA does well, and it's only going to be a single, but it put Butterman on to strike.
The way he hit that, it just sounded like he got more on it than he actually did, Simon Harmer.
Aesthetically, it was a lovely shot.
It was, wasn't it?
Just didn't quite find the middle that he was looking for. Now, Billings is changing things around now. Not sure what the matchup is between Stewart and Butterman. Well, Butterman has just put it where the fielder was. Agar came up from that boundary, and Billings will be kicking himself right now. Butterman gets another boundary.
Yeah, and he put mid-off, actually Hogan back on this boundary straight. Brought that third up into the ring and bowled a completely wrong delivery, did Grant Stewart. Butterman again with great hands through the back of that ball.
Just checking where the field is going to lie now. Sam Billings, of course, having to converse from a long way back. Oh, goes through on the full. Buttleman played it like a tennis volley. It's gone for 4.
He's happy with it, isn't he?
Is it a no ball? I think it is, above waist height.
Yeah, Grant Stewart, for the first time, Kent look a little bit rattled. It was a horrible delivery, wasn't it, from a Kent perspective, but again, well played by Will Butterman. With that third coming up, it was premeditating that shot.
Right,
and
free hit coming up.
Finally a free hit.
Finally. Sam Billings just checking with Rob Bailey. Be a single ball in this Essex innings. You just get the feeling though there's an importance in runs coming off this extra ball.
Absolutely. This stage of the game.
Buttleman slams it out straight to Miyai, who does well actually.
Yeah.
Almost leapt over his head, so just the single as an extra. 7 balls left in the Eagles innings.
Going to get past that 180 mark actually that we were predicting earlier when Essex were going a little bit slower than this. It's been the best partnership of the night so far between Buttleman and Simon Harmer.
Where's that one gone?
Oh!
Well, another 6. The captain is really rescuing his team now, along with Buttleman.
This is certainly a captain's knock, isn't it? Flicked off his legs, loads of timing, just gets over that boundary. But brilliant innings so far from Simon Harmer, and one his team desperately needed when he came out to the crease.
Hogan is going to come back to be the death over bowler.
Turning to experience here, aren't they, Ken?
Yep. Just been a little bit of a swing into the home side's favour. Oh, Buttleman swings high. Is anybody going to get underneath it? Leaning is, and he has plenty of time to make the catch. 31 for Will Buttleman. That's a very important innings. Leaning takes another catch off another steepler, and Hogan gets a wicket, but that is a good inning from the youngster. Hogan knew just where he wanted to put it to make him play across the line.
It was up for a very, very long time as well. Jack Leaning did well to hold on to that catch. But everyone here at Essex is applauding Will Butterman, because when he came out to the crease, Essex looked in a lot of trouble. We weren't sure whether they'd get to 180, 175 at that stage. And that 31 off just 14 deliveries from Will Butterman was just wonderful to watch, wasn't it, Simon? He had all the intent. Yep. He was aggressive from the start.
Now Snater in, and of course Snater will be facing no crossing over anymore. Oh, and Harmer's gone. Well, how many times has Shane Snater been involved in a run-up or similar? He seems to have been in the wrong position at the wrong time, and there Harmer overdoing the backing up. Aaron Nijjar will come out just when they were trying to get the captain on strike for the last 4 balls. Have a look. Yeah,
Oh,
good work from Hogan.
Yeah, it was. It was almost a clash actually between him and Simon Harmer there. He was just trying to get on strike, wasn't he? He was backing up well down the crease. But another Essex batter who came out when it was difficult and really rebuilt this innings.
Snater steps back to pull that one through. Almost 25 coming off just 11 deliveries. And the urgency with which Buttleman and Harmer struck out, so important for Essex as they try and make a reasonable tally for the Kent target.
And Kent again taking wickets at crucial times, as they have done the whole innings. You feel if Simon Harmer and Will Bottomall were here for this last over, could have been quite damaging from a Kent perspective.
Just singles is not going to change the feel of this Essex innings right now.
He's a clever bowler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hogan. You can see why he's had such a long career in county cricket.
So 2 balls left. Can Snater do anything with these to significantly change this target? No, he's out. Well, good catch from Denley. And Hogan does the job that his team needed him to do. .184 then, all out. Hogan doing the death bowler job superbly there. 3 wickets in that final over, including that run out. And the Kent bowlers vindicating Sam Billings' choice of fielding first to set the target. You look at that, what's that? Just under 9.5 and over. What's your thoughts, Kath Dalton?
It was a difficult innings for Essex. They really struggled at the start. Ball was seaming around a little bit. Dan Lawrence was slow, but got himself up to 50, 52, I think he went for. And you felt maybe at that stage he would go on and help Essex post a big score, and he didn't. 52 off the 36, as you can see there. He started to come into some kind of form, and then Will Bottomall and Simon Harmer were the standout partnership. They batted brilliantly. Will Bottomall from the start, from the get-go of his innings, was looking to be aggressive. But that Kent just kept taking wickets, and there was a spell in the middle where we felt Kent were completely on top, and it was very difficult for them to
Right, well, let's get on the pitch as we continue to keep you in the know here at the Cloud County Ground, and we'll hear the interviews mid-match.
Joined by Will Butterman. Will, 142 for 7. We finish on 184. Must be pretty pleased at the halfway point. Something to defend there and get after.
Yeah, very pleased. Thought the boys batted really well. Nice for me and Harmy to hit some sixes at the end there and get us up to a competitive score.
And some early wickets. Pivotal, do you feel?
Yeah, it'll be nice. We'll keep fighting, try and get the win. I think the wicket will suit us, and hopefully we come out on top.
Will, best of luck. Well, there you have it. 184 is set. 185 is required for Kent to win this one.
Welcome back to the Cloud County Ground. I'm Simon Ward. Alongside me, Kath Dalton. Kath, 185 is the target. Who will be the happier of the two teams, do you think, at the halfway point?
I think Kent will be much happier with 185 than Essex. I know Will Butterman said there that he was hoping that Essex had enough, but it felt like Kent were the dominant side in that first innings. Bowled really nicely. Everyone who came on to bowl, as we were saying earlier, did their job, bowled to the field. It's not a massive total, is it? We're seeing normally a lot bigger scores on this ground in the Vitality Blast. So I think Kent will be a little bit happier. But you know, Essex could bowl well here. A couple of early wickets, and they'll be right in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting power play, that's for sure, because the mind goes back to last season here in this encounter when it was the flip side of the coin and Kent were made to bat, and they were 24 for 4 in their power play, only set 130, and Essex ran through it inside just over 3/4 of the allotment, the allocation. So it'll be interesting to see how this power play plays out. Dan Sam's going to get first dibs.
And as you said, Dan Sams has come back an even better cricketer than he was last year.
For sure.
He gets the new ball to shape, doesn't he? Normally back into the right-hander.
18 wickets already in this campaign for the Australian. Oh, what a stop from Harmer.
Oh no.
Just looking to see where that ball's going to ricochet out. Fair dues to the Kent batsmen, they've stopped. But Simon Harmer gets the appreciation of Das and Critchley. Watch this.
Oh, brilliant stop, and then to get up and throw as well. Fantastic piece of athleticism from Simon Harmer. Didn't go back in though, Dan Sams. Normally does go back into the right-hander. Chose to go across him in that one.
Daniel Bell-Drummond gets his first taste. Bell-Drummond has got, well, over 400 runs already for Kent in this campaign, averaging 45, but you look at just the last 4 T20s when, of course, Kent have turned it around, really, after that Essex defeat, and he's averaging 83. So, a man who's seeing the ball fairly well, you would think.
It's the sort of guy you need to get out early. Don't let him settle.
Pleading with Rob Bailey. That looked mighty close. Unless there was an inside edge on it, it looked like he got stuck right in front of the sticks there. Let's take a look at this.
Maybe going down.
Maybe going down.
Clever bowling though by Dan Sams. Every time I've seen him open the bowling, he normally goes for that ball quite early on. He's gone across the right-hander for his first 2 deliveries and then brought that one back into Bell-Drummond.
Puts it across him now, and already Sam's pulling the strings inside this first over.
I think Will Butterman's seen Sam Billings do that, hasn't he? He was chucking the ball up in the air as if it was a wicket.
That's what they're taught at school. Billings at Haileybury School and Buttleman at Felsted School. It's gone up and it's gone over Critchley's head. They'll get a couple for it. Well, I'm not sure whether DBD, as he's known, got full bat on this. Let's just take a look. Yeah, he probably did, but it was a 9-iron in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Critchley's quite tight in the ring there as well. If he was sitting on the ring, that would have gone straight to him.
Impressive first over from Daniel Sams, just 3 from it.
Yeah, fantastic start, wasn't it? Got the ball to shape back very nicely. Surprised Bell-Drummond actually, that third ball. Then nearly had a wicket again, and Critchley needs to just grow a bit, doesn't he? Then he would have got there.
Easily said, right?
Should have eaten his greens as a kid.
Snater is going to get the first run out from the river end. Had a tough game against Somerset, 42 of just 2 overs. So he has got to make sure that he can find the line and length to tie up these Kent batters early doors. And the 4 off the first ball is not the starter that anybody wanted from an Essex perspective anyway.
That was wonderfully timed, wasn't it? It was just slightly too full by Shane Snater here. Just punched down the ground. It's the sort of shot you see in a test match, never mind a T20 game. What I'm questioning is Shane Snater's hair style here. Little bits of blonde that he's put in it. What are your thoughts on that one, Simon?
I'll take the 5th, I think.
I'll come back next match and you'll have them, won't you?
Nah. No, been there, done that a long time ago. Snater with the second ball and just tightens things up on Tuandamiye, refugee from Zimbabwe back in the day, came over on a sports scholarship to Eastbourne College. Showed so well that he won the Wisden Schools Cricket of the Year, only 3 years ago. He's 22 years of age now.
Yeah, there was footage of him in some of those school games, and my goodness, he looked a classy player.
Yeah. Only made his T20 debut last year, actually, in the match here. Gradually establishing himself within the Kent ranks. As has Daniel Bell-Drummond, signed his first contract at 17 back in 2011. Comes down the track and sends Snater back over the top once again, another 4.
Yeah, they just look like they're targeting Snater here a little bit. Obviously, in the last game, as you said earlier, he did struggle with the ball in hand. And Kent are just going on the attack against him. Little shuffle down the crease. Full swing of the arms. Another boundary.
It's gone up. I don't know whether it's gone long. Walter's after it. He's just going to beat him. Again, Snater doesn't appear to have the armoury to be able to put the brake on the flow of boundaries that seem to be appearing, certainly recent. As you rightly say, Kath, he's immediately targeted by the opposition.
It wasn't well timed, actually, was it? That last shot.
Again, trying to hold that ball back. Again, it's just picked up and sent out through cow corner this time. And once again, Shane Snater proves to be expensive.
It's not the over Essex needed after Dan Sams being very tight on his lines, creating wicket-taking chances in his first over. Shane Snater there with the ball, unfortunately has just missed out on his length and his line. And he's been punished, hasn't he, by Daniel Bell-Drummond in immense form at the moment.
Well, Armour keeping Sams on. Normally this would be a Sam Cook over, but having seen 17 off that Snater over, recognising the need to keep his top man in the mix.
Just wonder if Essex should have gone Dan Sams and then maybe spin at the other end at exactly what Kent did in the opening power play overs. Obviously, hindsight's such a nice thing, isn't it?
I know Aaron Nijjar has been used quite often in the opening salvos. He's received a bit of tap. I think it was the Hampshire game, the last one, if I remember rightly. Oh, Muyaye gets the first 6 on the board for the visitors.
I think that's gone out of the ground, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's heading for Molsham Straight now. Just take a look at this. It was more of a baseball type shot, but no, in fact he got good wood to it, didn't he?
Did just stood up on the hit actually. Short hands, fast hands through the back of that ball. A new cricket ball, please.
Bottom hand shot, showing good strength. Now what's Daniel Sams got to reply to that? Now that's, I think, similar to the Lawrence shot.
I was just about to say that.
If they're moving about, there is going to be a readjustment of the leg side line by the umpires, and there's as a consequence, the wide not called.
A great start here for Kent. Come out the traps very hard. Power play perspective, obviously Kent have used that over from Snater just to find themselves a little bit of rhythm, to find themselves a bit of form. Sams could pick up a wicket here, can change the tide and the feel of this opening couple of overs.
Oh, it's gone straight up. Buttleman's trying to get underneath it, and it's done. Well, the soothsayer that is Kath Dalton says if there was a wicket, next ball there is a wicket. Muyaye goes, caught by Buttleman off the bowling of Sams, and that is what Simon Harmer will have wanted from his main man.
Yeah, a crucial wicket for Essex. Kent were flying there, they were getting everything, bat on ball. It's going to all parts. Dan Sams just bangs that in the middle of the pitch. And a very good catch by Will Butterman. We saw him with the bat earlier on this evening. He was fantastic. It's not an easy catch under those lights. And the breakthrough that Essex desperately needed in this power play.
Well, this is a feared partnership from Essex fans here, because this is Joe Denley coming in to join Daniel Bell-Drummond, and back in 2017 they put on a world record of 207. It was the opening partnership on that day. So they have history in the T20. And there's the opening.
That's a shot full of class from Joe Denley. Just a little bit of width from Dan Sams. He just pounced on it straight away. It's a wonderful shot. We know how good Joe Denley is as a player. You can't give him width at the start of his innings.
So, Nijjar it is to come in, and once again, as Kath Dalton predicted, the left arm spinner coming in, and I think that Nijjar and Critchley indeed turning the ball the same way will be very, very important for Essex this evening, because there is only one left-handed bat in the Kent lineup, and that's George Linder.
Yeah.
So you would expect the slow left armour and indeed the leggy, and indeed you see Critchley in there at first slip already. Just looking to see if there is something.
Why didn't they start with this? This is the question, isn't it? Maybe that's why.
Didn't want to start with that. That's a 4 in the slot.
Yeah, as you said, Simon, correctly so. It's a little bit too over pitch. You've got that slip in place, you're going to want to use them. There's just no room for error when someone's in the form that they're in, as Daniel Bell-Drummond is in.
I haven't had a look myself personally at the track, but I'm guessing that after 3-4 matches, whatever it is on it, that the spinners would find some purchase on it. There would be something to really get their teeth into. Still no turn from Nijjar yet.
Now we saw one or two deliveries turned in the Essex innings.
Yeah, Linda and Denley, I think.
And bounce, actually.
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult to sweep when the ball is bouncing that much. Just feel like this wicket, a wicket here, with these two at the crease, as you said, it was such a good partnership that they can build together. A wicket here is crucial for Essex, really. Bell-Drummond, get him out early. He's already looked very classy, hasn't he?
Yeah, 19 off 10. Dropped short, but there's a man out there. Good work, I think it's Dan Lawrence. Yes, indeed it is.
Yeah, great fielding out there to prevent the two from Dan Lawrence sprinting off that boundary.
Well, that got some turn, and that is delicately played by Denley to get the boundary. Well, yet again, a boundary, well, to bracket those 6 balls from Aaron Nijjar.
It's great to see so many youngsters in, isn't it? I know it looks like he controlled that, but it was actually a really good delivery from Aaron Nijjar. They obviously took the slip out, didn't they? They took Critchley out of slip, and it enabled him to play that shot down to third.
Right, Paul Walter being brought on from the Hayes close end. 11 off that Nijjar opening over. Interested to see, well, we don't normally see Simon Harmer till after the power play. Or Matt Critchley. So let's see what the big boy from Billericay can do. Bowling to Daniel Bell-Drummond.
Brilliant fielding.
Michael Pepper getting down and dirty.
I think that's something that Essex are going to have to do well this evening. They're going to have to field well, back up their bowlers, take any chances that they can. We saw Dan Lawrence in the previous over. Brilliant bit of work on the boundary to stop a 2. Essex are going to have to do that this evening.
Paul Walter just bending his back on that one. One for the over.
I think Joe Denley was thinking, why didn't I have a bit of a swing at that one? With fine leg up in the ring.
Denley goes out, and he does swing, and he does get the ultimate result for that swing.
And not the best of deliveries from Walter into the middle of the pitch against someone of the class of Joe Denley. He's just not going to miss out on this shot. Slammed into the middle of the pitch. He actually tried to give himself a little bit room to open up the offside. Walter followed him. Free swing of the arms and 6.
It's gone high. One-handed, bouncing off the Felsted school stand for another maximum. Double 6s for Joe Denley. The only man to get a T20 hat-trick and 100 in the same match.
Goodness me.
There's a useless stat for you. 5 years ago against Surrey.
5 years ago against Surrey. I won't forget it now though, Simon.
No, I know you won't.
I'll pull that one out at some point. Might be in a pub quiz.
Walter takes the pace off it, but still the single picked up. .55 now up on the board, and we're just about to finish the 5th over. So no question the visitors in the driving seat early doors.
Yeah, we know, you know, a couple of quick wickets can really change
yeah,
the feel.
for sure. .15 off that Paul Walter opening over, and only Daniel Sam's able to put the brakes on Kent right now.
Yeah, Walter looks a little bit frustrated with himself. Those 2 balls at the back end of that over, 2 deliveries at the back end of that over, off cutters. He bowled those nicely, but the damage unfortunately had already been done.
I think looks like Harmer's going to keep Nijar on. Last over of the power play falls to the slow left armour. Man out on the mid-wicket boundary, and one now going back to deep long off.
I don't think this is a bad move. I know he went for 15 in the last over, but if he can get a bit more turn like he did in one of those deliveries, and he can hit his lengths, it can be very handy.
Denley goes down the track with a check drive.
Oh,
Gets the 4. Paul Walter thought he'd done enough there.
it's great placement, isn't it, from Joe Denley? Mid-off actually on the boundary, trying to protect that shot from off Nijar's bowling, but Joe Denley finds the gap into out over extra cover. Unlucky by Paul Walter, actually.
Still Nijar happy to push that ball through. No real sign of particular flight or turn.
They need to build some dots here, Essex. They need to build some pressure on these 2. Finding it too easy at the moment.
It's good bowling from Nijar, just tying his man up, but they come back for the second. Nijar hasn't been in the first team for quite a while, that has to be said. Played his first game this season in that Hampshire game, hasn't played since. Again, that check drive, and again the same result. 4.
Stunning shot, wasn't it, by Joe Denley? Again over that extra cover region. He's so good there. Seen him in every format hit that kind of shot. Very difficult for Aaron Nijar from his perspective to get any control on this game.
Yeah, high leading arm, and the bat following through in perfect line for another boundary. So the power play is done. Essex were 56 for 3, Kent are 67 for 1. Enter Matt Critchley.
He's been having a good season so far, hasn't he, Matt Critchley? All that experience. He went out to the Big Bash, didn't he, in the winter as well?
Yep. Raising his profile, hangs one up there. Snater slides in to save 2. Good fielding. Yeah, Matt Critchley certainly is showing what everybody thought we were going to see, and more, it has to be said. 13 wickets so far.
he's been a very handy all-rounder for Essex so far this season. It was great to see him out at the Big Bash. Flicked the TV on early morning and there he was.
Yeah, and loved it. I was chatting to him at the beginning of the season about it. Really enjoyed the experience and the mixing with so many different people. That's a lovely shot from Denley. Denley is slipping into gear very quickly for Kent here.
He just looks a class above this evening, doesn't he, Joe Denley? Another wonderfully timed shot through the offside, off Matt Critchley. A little bit short of a length, but created the room on that point region.
Now goes straight, and that's a 6. And Denley wants to get this done early. What's that, 42 now off 15, I think.
Just the power this is hit at.
Already a half-century partnership, 54 runs, of which Denley's got 42. That tells you everything you need to know. And Kent just plundering the Essex attack right now. No sense of danger or threat really at the moment. See what happens now, because the captain's coming on. Simon Harmer going to come on from the river end, and his team needs something now. Essex need wickets, no question about that.
Yeah, they do, and they need their skipper here more than ever to break this partnership if they can. He came in with the bat and did a wonderful job for his team. This partnership is proving very costly for Essex. They look set, don't they, here?
Harmer 25 off 11 balls in the Essex innings. Put on 40 with Will Buttleman.
It's finding it difficult to build any pressure on the Essex. They're finding it difficult to just stem the flow of runs. Denley 43 off 16 deliveries.
Yep. Now this will be interesting. 2 leggies. Sorry, an off spinner to a leggy. And Denley's such a class act. We know, we've seen him so many times with England and with Kent. Actually, of course, played in the 2019 Ashes, so he will have been very interested to see what went on at Edgbaston earlier on in the week. Good combination play between Walter and Lawrence to save 2.
Yeah, fascinating test match, wasn't it? Early in the week. Did you manage to catch much of it?
Oh yeah, couldn't take your eyes off it, could you?
Every ball seemed like an event.
Apart from, I think, was it the Saturday was a bit slow when Australia batted. Oh, that's delicate again. And once again, Essex cannot stop the boundaries from appearing in each over. Bell-Drummond with that late cut, finding the perfect angle. Just take a look at this. Almost coming into leg stump there.
Did well to get it that fine from leg stump, didn't he?
Nine off the first Harmer over. Yes, no, getting back to Bazball, and it was a wonderful advert for Test cricket. Which brings me on to the Women's Ashes, started today at Trent Bridge. I didn't hear the final score. I know Australia got out of the blocks fairly quickly. Elise Perry again in great form, but I think Sophie Eccleston had something to say, didn't she? What was it? Did you hear what the final score was?
Yeah, I'm just having a look at it now actually. So Australia 328 for 7 they finished off.
Okay.
So Sophie Eccleston taking 3 wickets today and for 71. She bowled 31 overs. I'm sure she'll be feeling a little bit stiff this evening.
Oh yeah. There's another left armour, Aaron Nijjar. Changes ends.
Oh!
Whoa! Rob Bailey was in great position. The crowd are appealing more than the players are. What a throw that was. I think it was Michael Pepper down there at short third.
Brilliant bit of fielding, wasn't it?
Rob Bailey getting in creditable position. Oh, Denley goes long, and that's his half century off just 18 balls. What an impact the 37-year-old has had on this game.
Just looks risk-free cricket, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's brilliant batting.
Nijjar goes wider, but Denley slaps it. Man out there anyway. You wonder whether Dan Lawrence may get a look in if they keep tapping Nijjar for easy runs, as it appears at the moment they're doing.
And this knock from Joe Denley is just allowing Bell-Drummond just to hit it out to the sweepers. Doesn't need to take any risk at this stage, does he? 100 for 1, Kent.
Yep, century already up inside the 9th over for the visitors. Again, Nijjar going for that width, and again Denley puts it away.
He is a powerful striker for a cricket ball, Joe Denley. Anything that's not quite right, he latches onto. Again, a little bit of width. Sent Simon Harmer actually in the wrong direction at extra cover. Powerful shot towards us for 4. Oh.
Good work by Paul Walter. Well, the runs keep flowing, and there's now, it would appear, that Essex can do to stem it. Only Daniel Sams has got anything like creditable figures. Everybody else almost in double figures. Simon Harmer, I think, what did Simon Harmer go for, 8 in that first over?
Yes.
It's, you know, there is nobody that's able to slow things down. Harmer back, facing Daniel Bell-Drummond, playing the anchor role this evening. Happy to send that one for 4, and this Essex bowling, as in the Somerset match, is being dismantled.
It just feels very tame from Essex, doesn't it? Almost disappointing. I don't know how well these Kent batters are batting, but some poor deliveries too.
Bell-Drummond now 42 off 26 balls. Kent happily going along at nearly 12 and over. And yeah, this game is going to be done before too long, the way this is beginning to play out.
This looks easy for them out there at the moment. It's been difficult for Essex to build any kind of pressure, to build any dot balls.
Just look at the bowling figures. Sam's 1 for 13 off 2. Snater 17 off his only over. Nijjar 37 off 3. Walter 15 off his only over. Same for Matt Critchley. And Harmer now 16 off his almost 2 overs.
It's the first full shot from Joe Denley actually. It's the first one he's not timed or not hit.
And no need for Kent to take any risks. Kent haven't won this competition in 2 years, almost to the day. Did the double on that occasion, but Essex have won the last 3. But unless Messrs Harmer, Critchley, Sams and co can conjure up something to change the feel of this game more than anything else, it just feels like there's an inevitable conclusion already.
Yeah, there does, unfortunately. For Essex, it does seem to be running away from them. See two very, very good players at the crease for Kent. But even in the first innings, it always felt like Essex was trying to get back into the game. Kent have always felt on top.
Snater makes a very good attempt to try and get it right in front of us here in the commentary booth. Worked really hard to get underneath that. They've got the slightest of fingers to that shot from Denley.
It was a brilliant effort, wasn't it, in the deep? He's running at full pace. Almost got there, Shane Snater.
I seem to remember Ben Allison taking a catch in a similar position. Was it last year or year before, maybe? Snater, who has taken some remarkable catches for the Eagles over his time here. Now, the question in Simon Harmer's mind now is, does he bring Daniel Sams back early to try and break this? Because that would appear to be the only way they're going to get wickets. Denley goes long again, same result. Straight 6 for Joe Denley.
Incredible shot again by Joe Denley. It's just full of timing. You can hear it off his bat. Every time it leaves his bat, you think that's 6. Slightly dragged down by Matt Critchley and punished.
And again.
Oh, it's gone even further. That's in the houses, that one, Simon.
Well, Denley just showing his class. We've seen it a few times already at the Cloud County Ground. Mike Vince for Hampshire was another one you just had to doff your cap and say, well batted, sir. Century partnership now between these two, and Denley's got 74 of them. And Critchley just kicks the ground in frustration. It's not going to be Essex's day the way that this seems to be playing out.
And as you said, just hats off to Joe Denley. This is an incredible innings. 74 of just 29 balls so far. Everything that's left his bat has left his bat with power and timing. It's been joyful to watch. I know it's difficult with an Essex shirt on and an Essex mindset. It's been incredible not to witness live. I agree with you though. I know they've gone back to Paul Walter. It was surprising not to see Dan Sam's name come up. Got to go to your go-to bowler and just try and break this partnership. I don't think they have an option, to be honest with you.
Well, as you move into the second half of the innings and you only need 6 runs and over, there's no way you're going to be able to put pressure on the scoreboard unless you take wickets,
Yeah,
it would
100%.
appear. Difficult options for Harmer. He's gone to Walter, bowling to Bell-Drummond. Bell-Drummond heading for his own half-century now, 46 off 30.
He's been quietly going about his business, hasn't he?
Yeah. Performing the perfect role, really, for his team, especially when he's seen Denley open up in such startling fashion. Walter changing the angle, trying to push.
That's a yellow card, I think.
Trying to push his old mate Bell-Drummond out the way. Both of them having a laugh about it.
He's not the sort of bloke you go into a tackle with.
No arms tackle. What can I tell you? Go to the TMO.
It's taken him a while to get back to his mark after that incident.
It's a long way. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when Harmer brings himself back as well. Been relatively economical, 8.5 off an over off his 2. But you would think Sam's is the real option. The Essex bowlers certainly don't seem to have got anything of the life or action that the Kent bowlers did.
No, the Kent bowlers bowled brilliantly, didn't they? They bowled to their fields. They mixed up their deliveries with a lot of off-pace deliveries as well. Looks like two completely different pitches we're playing on.
Yep. Bell-Drummond pushing for the 2, Denley brings him back with ease.
And they've run fantastically, haven't they, between the wickets? Another 2 to the sweeper. Or is it just class batting, Simon? Sometimes you just up against 2 players who are in incredible form.
I think the class batting has an impact on the mindset of the fielding team. And, you know, when you see a partnership like this with 2 batting performances like we've seen from Bell-Drummond and particularly Denley, you can do nothing but, as I say, doff your cap and say, well played, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much as that will be far from the thinking of all those Essex players out there right now. Snyder's coming back on.
Oh, they'll be thinking they can get a breakthrough at any stage. They'll back themselves to be in the game. That's just the mindset you have though, isn't it, as a cricketer?
Now, I'm looking to see Harmer and Walter are going to go out at long on and long off. And you would think that somebody like Joe Denley, seeing Snater back in the attack, will look to attack, and maybe get himself caught out, and there it is. Snater comes on, and with the first ball, hits it, Denley hits it straight at Matt Critchley. Well, is that too little too late? Or could that turn this game around?
Yeah, well, a breakthrough that Essex certainly needed, and Shane Snater delivers on his first ball, not dissimilar to some of the dismissals we saw the Essex batters as well. Short and wide delivery and just mistimed, but a wonderful knock, wasn't it, from Joe Denley?
Brilliant.
Full of class, full of timing. Shows exactly why he's been an international cricketer this evening. He's provided a lot of entertainment.
A young 37, Mr. Denley. There's Mr. Billings, Sam Billings now coming out. He would be quite happy to get a few runs himself. It's been a tough season for Sam Billings, averaging just over 15 with a high score of 30. That's not what you want from your number 4. And you know Billings is a classier act than that. You know he's got better figures in him, but just hasn't happened for him this season.
He's had a difficult international career, hasn't he? He's always been on the bench or running drinks for England, and I think he said that in a few interviews, how difficult that has been mentally for him.
Snater to Billings. Gets himself off the mark. Yeah, it's an invidious position, much as you long to be part of the setup. You know, when you've been understudy to Ben Folkes or Bairstow or whoever it might be, he's never been prominent in the starting lineups, has he? Bell-Drummond looking for that half century.
Yeah, he's been in an era where England have been very strong, haven't they? Josh Buttler keeping as well in short format cricket for England. Difficult to knock any of those kind of players out of the starting 11. But he loves his county, doesn't he, Sam?
Oh, yeah.
He always talks about it in high regard.
And he's been very important as the captain once Sam Northeast left. It was very important that he was leading the way, shall we say. His personality, his character has been very important for the Spitfires. Snater having a good comeback over thus far.
Shows a lot of character, doesn't it?
Yep, the wicket, just 2 runs so far.
He looked up for the fight as well, Shane Snater. When he took that wicket, he looked very pumped up for the occasion.
Billings again able to farm it into that mid-wicket area. Billings, who turned 32 last Thursday, of course said no to the IPL this year. Turned that chance down.
It's a nice position to be in, isn't it? Saying no to the IPL.
Yeah, I guess so. Bell-Drummond, one short of his half-century. There it is. So his 5th 50 of the T20 campaign so far this season. And coming off 35 balls, that's at a reasonable lick as well for the anchor, as he's turned out to be, of this Kent Spitfires innings.
And he just continues his wonderful form that he's been in for Kent in the last few games.
Yep, it was 83, as I said, in the last 4. That'll be on the up now.
That'll be his 5th 50 as well for Kent this T20 season, so he's been in wonderful form.
Now, with Denley's exit, Critchley is coming back into the attack from the river end for his 3rd over. First 2 have gone for 31.
This is the issue for Essex now, is they don't have to take any risk, do they? They can just punch singles.
There's no pressure from the scoreboard, is there?
No scoreboard pressure at all. Have to take something very special here from Matt Critchley. He's capable though. He's certainly capable.
Oh, Billings goes long, gets the long handle out and sends the ball into the river can.
Wow, what a hit this is from Sam Billings. Slog sweep against Matt Critchley, against the spin. Full swing of the bat. Cracking shot. Has that gone as far as the river? No, maybe not.
Then the reverse sweep. Sam's making sure that was getting no further and keeping it to 1. Yeah, that partnership between Bell-Drummond and Denley, 110 in just under 10 overs, and taking this game away from Essex.
It really has, but you know, there's still games left in this tournament.
Oh, for sure, yeah,
for Essex perspective, so they're going to want to finish well here. They don't want to just fade out.
Again, the nice angle of that reverse sweep from Billings.
Oh,
a little bit tight, maybe. Yeah, don't forget, Essex go down to Southampton tomorrow to the Ageas Bowl to face the champions. And then they've got Middlesex back here tomorrow week. The last home game in the T20, in the regular season anyway. And then finish at the Oval. So that is not going to be an easy finish for Simon Harmer's men. Much as they may get the quarter-final spot, of course they were hoping to bring one of them back here to Chelmsford. It's going to be a tough ask now, you would think.
oh, brilliant bit of keeping.
Nice work from Battleman. So the runs keep flowing for Kent. 11 off that Critchley over, 42 now off his 3.
It's a disappointed Eagles fan there. Little lad. Oh,
it's tough to take at that
now.
age. Hey, you got school tomorrow, don't worry. Snater staying on.
That was a good comeback over, wasn't it? His last over.
Yep.
From Shane Snater. Yeah, that innings from Joe Denley has been the difference, hasn't it? Just took the game away from Essex, unfortunately.
Yep. Yes, it's. I always felt it was 15, 20 runs light, maybe.
Yeah.
Essex struggled through their innings to really get the momentum into it that the home fans will have wanted, and that Denley knock, as you say, has just put Kent in total control.
Oh.
And there's Billings just scooping it round. Good work down there from Nijar. Good fielding from Aaron Nijar then.
Brilliant work on the fence. Another very good shot from Sam Billings. We know how good he is at those scoops. You can see it here on the replay. Shane Snater back of a length and Sam Billings just creating a little bit of room. Great work by Aaron Nijar. Applauded by the Essex fans.
Billings comes down the wicket but doesn't get underneath it. Harmer does. And the bucket hands of Harmer, we're never going to miss this. And Snater picks up another wicket. It feels like too little too late, but who knows? Just who knows as we head towards the three-quarter mark in this Kent innings.
That was a good catch, wasn't it? Because that went up high for a very, very long time. But Shane Snater showing a lot of character and a lot of heart after his first over, going for 17. He's picked up 2 crucial wickets for Essex. He just keeps them in the game a little bit. You just feel there's something there. It might be, as you said, Simon, a little bit too late, too little too late. But I like his character and I like his heart to just keep running in and keep trying to take wickets for Essex.
So Jordan Cox comes in. Cox has been averaging 46. Had that 82 not out against Hove. Off 44 balls, 6 fours and 5 sixes in that, so he's in fine form. Doesn't have to do an awful lot now with 30 needed for victory for the Spitfires.
Yeah, it's a nice time to bat for him, isn't it? No real pressure. Bell-Drummond still in. 53 of 38 deliveries. He's just quietly going about his business today, isn't he, Bell-Drummond?
Yeah, we've seen him explode before with bat in hand, but that's not today. He knows the job that's needed, and the new Kent vice-captain, I think he took over from Denley in that official position. Just doing what his team needs.
That's a sign of a classy player, isn't it, when they're reading the situation and batting accordingly. Just wants to see his team home here, doesn't he?
Well, for win number 5 on the trot. And once again, how fortunes can change so quickly. Kent, who started off with a victory at Canterbury over Gloucestershire, but then had 5 successive losses, finishing of course with that Essex win by 4 wickets at the beginning of the month. But then since then, well, it's only just over a fortnight ago, and things have changed now. Kent look like they're going to go 5 on the trot, and they'll be pushing to make sure they're in that quarter-final mix.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on this game for them, wasn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, they rescued it, much as Essex did back in 2019, of course. Harmer. And the straight drive from Bell-Drummond, dispatching the Essex skipper with consummate ease, Daniel Bell-Drummond.
And that's a shot we've seen a lot today from Joe Denley and now Bell-Drummond as well, just hitting dead straight towards the sight screen. Great shot.
Kent, who have Middlesex coming to Canterbury tomorrow, and then I think Sussex will be there, and they finish at Taunton. Had a tough time, of course, since lifting that trophy in 21, when Jordan Cox coincidentally was the player of the match. Remember that 58 not out, plus that remarkable boundary catch. Denley got 3 for 31 with his leggies in that particular game.
What's your prediction this year, Simon? Have you got a winner in mind?
I was going all the way with Lancashire at the beginning of play. Worcestershire are going well. Surrey, you'd never want to bet against. I think it's a more intriguing mix on form than perhaps we've had in recent years. And as you know, as we can see here, and we've been talking about this evening, form can change so quickly, and teams can just build confidence and build momentum, and suddenly we're going, oh, well, they're good for it now. Again, you only have to look at Essex themselves, going 5 wins on the trot, good fielding from Pepper, and now lost 2 and go to Southampton tomorrow with a different mindset than you had 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah, it can definitely affect you, can't it, as a player, and the feel of a team. You start losing games of cricket, it can be difficult to claw back. But you're right, Surrey are very strong, aren't they? I've seen them a few times this summer so far, and got some strength and depth in their side for sure. They were the ones I had my money on, so not literally, just to say. But
Good.
but prediction-wise,
comes on for his final over. 37 off the first 3. Make that. Ooh, that was a 4, I think. Bounced just in front. 41 now. It's
again hitting dead straight very well. Ken, all innings, they've been peppering that sight screen on both ends of the ground. Not been an easy evening for the Essex bowlers.
But as you said earlier, it feels like a whole different pitch. The way that the Kent bowlers were able to bowl George Linder, if you're looking at comparisons, Linder against Nijar, Linder bowled most of his, if not all of his overs from the other end, but seemed to be getting a bit of purchase,
Yeah, it was
certainly
a
with the
river
flight.
end, wasn't he, for most of his spell.
Jordan Cox goes reverse. Will Buttleman, his old schoolmate, appealing loud in his ear, no doubt. Familiar voice from playground days. Outside
That's
leg.
a line, yeah.
Well, it's not leg, is it? Of course, on the reverse sweep, but
Oh. Yeah, Kent just easing here, aren't they? Easing to victory, just require 12 runs to win this game.
yes, there's an inevitability in the body language now, isn't there? Just 3 down, and the way these two are playing, and Denley before them, just making it look so easy.
Always feels disappointed, doesn't it, when there's not a close game?
Yeah.
You turn up to the ground, you're always expecting that anticipation. This was a big game for Kent and also for Essex. He could be seeking qualification this evening, but hasn't to be. Full house here at Chelmsford, or meant to be a sellout crowd. Be a little bit disappointed with what they're seeing this evening.
Yeah, that Somerset game, of course, ended with 21 balls still left. Well, now we do see the Australian coming back, and it feels like maybe a little too late now to really make any difference to this one. As you say, just 10 runs needed now, isn't it?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Simon, actually bringing back on a little bit earlier try to break the partnership. They didn't do that. They went with Nidjar, the Premier bowler. I just think that might have been somewhere they could have changed the game, Essex.
Beginning of the 18th over. Just 9 runs needed for Daniel Bell-Drummond. Maybe not the most startling figures of his batting career, but so important, so impressive.
Yeah, definitely. He's crucial at the top of the order, isn't he, for Kent? He's helped them see them to another victory here. Just looks in complete control when he's batting. It's a sign of a good player when they look at ease and they look in control.
Be interesting to see team selection tomorrow. Sam Cook obviously been rested today, and the thinking is it's ahead of Warwickshire starting the 4-day game, which is vital. Warwickshire in 2nd, Essex in 4th. That's got vital consequences to it, you would think.
Yeah.
So does Sam Cook presumably won't be in that mix tomorrow night, but does it bring in an Aaron Beard, a Ben Allison, somebody different into the bowling mix?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? After a loss, you want to look at who you've got in the change room, who might have an impact. Unfortunately, it's been a difficult evening for the Essex bowlers, so I do think they need to change it up. Aaron Beard is a good bowler. Ben Allison. It's just a shame that Sam Cook couldn't have played this evening. I think if he had opened up with Dan Sams, it might have been a little bit of a different story. Would you change it, Simon? Would you bring somebody else in?
Yes, definitely. I don't see the threat at the moment from the Essex attack, and I know it's about economy and keeping the runs down, but apart from Dan Sams and maybe occasionally Harmer and Critchley, I don't see it. I mean, Snater's come in, and credit to him, he's picked up a couple of wickets. But I would want to see a retoothing of the Essex attack.
I'd agree. It was probably only that Dan Sams first over that looked the most threatening of the game.
Yeah.
Or the innings.
Again, it'll be interesting to see what the pitch is like at the Ageas Bowl. Different horses for courses, of course. 5 left. Bell-Drummond 69. No tempting Daniel Bell-Drummond this evening.
He looks like he wants a red inker, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
1 for the average.
Good for the average. Leading run scorer in the 2020 T-Blast back in the day, and he's got such a record. Jordan Cox going to be facing up to Paul Walter. Since that duck he got against Essex, he's yet to be out. Jordan Cox. He's another one whose average will be shooting up with the red squiggle next to it. Part of the Sunrisers East Cape side that Adam Rossington was part of in the inaugural South African T20 this last winter. Helps that round. There's the majority of it. The scores are tied.
Just another loose delivery, wasn't it, from Walter? Just helped on its way to the boundary, as we'll see here on the replay. It's a poor delivery down the leg side.
I have to say, I think this Essex side looked tired, and there's a reason for that. It's inevitable, and I think they've said in the last 21 days they've been playing 16 of those. They've had 3 days travel, so they've only had 2 days off.
That's a lot of cricket.
So there's a lot of fatigue in there, but it's beginning to show, I think, tonight. Cox goes high. It's going to head over the boundary in one way, shape or form or another, and Kent Spitfires have won by 7 wickets. The run of Essex wins has come to an end, and Kent deservedly victorious in this one. They really have dominated, or controlled, shall we say, from the word go in the field, taking early wickets. Kushi, Pepper, Das, Walter all went fairly quickly. The only 2 partnerships of note, 57 between Lawrence and Critchley. Lawrence eventually out for 52, Critchley for 31, and then Buttleman and Harmer getting it together to put on 40 for the 8th wicket. Buttleman 31 and Harmer 25, but nobody else really able to steer the ship. There's Buttleman and Cox, the old schoolmates, just conferring on the wood. There was nobody that really got Essex going hard as Dan Lawrence tried. And then once the target was set at 184, Kath, with Essex not able to take early wickets, there was an inevitable conclusion.
Yeah, there was, and I think those early wickets were exactly what they needed, and unfortunately Shane Snater's first over going for 17 didn't really set the tone, did it? And it made it difficult to claw back from there. Dan Sams had a good opening over, but they never really seemed threatening after that, and that might provoke a little change in the lineup for the next game. A disappointing evening from an Essex perspective, and a brilliant one from Kent's point of view. They'll be really happy with how they performed, how they bowled to their plans, and ultimately how they executed with the bat at ease really in this game.
Yeah, tough evening. The only Essex linked people who'll be happy is the Penathlon Challenge, who, thanks to the Woodland Group, will get £185 from this. Penathlon giving thousands of young people with disabilities and special needs the opportunity to take part in competitive sports. A big thanks to the Woodland Group for upping their donation to the Penathlon Challenge. Well, that's it from me, Simon Ward. Big thanks to Kath Dalton. Thank you for your company.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get pitch side and hear the last rites of this game as Josh Ward talks to the player of the match.
Pitch side for the presentation, not the result we were after. However, the Woodlands Group Essex player of the match for his 52 off 26 is number 28, Dan Lawrence. I'd like to welcome forward our representatives from the Woodland Group for the presentation. Do you want to have your photo? Dan, we'll grab a quick word. Not the result that we were after. It looked like a game we struggled to get momentum at the start. What was it like to be out in the middle at that time?
Yeah, it felt like quite a tricky surface. Obviously, Kent have made it look like it that it wasn't, but yeah, it felt slightly sticky, and yeah, we didn't really get going. But I thought we had enough runs to defend it, but it was just one of those nights where we didn't get it quite right. And as is life, we move on to tomorrow night.
And you're, as you said rightly, Hampshire tomorrow night. Still 3 games left in this format. Lots of points to play for. A good start tomorrow, important.
Yeah, massively. Obviously, if you look on the whole, 7 wins from 11 games is still an incredible effort in T20s. And if we can look to win all 3 of those, we'll probably end up getting a home quarter final. So there's lots to be pleased about. We haven't had 2 great performances, but that's T20 cricket. We just got to pack your stuff up and move on to the next game.
And as you said, 2020 tomorrow night, then we're back to red ball cricket. Sometimes when you have a couple of losses in this format, is it good to jump format and refocus slightly?
Like I said, I think the nature of the game, I think you are going to lose T20s, especially here at Chelmsford where the boundaries are so small. Yeah, I think the change of format will be great. We obviously had a great win last game. So yeah, exciting few days ahead.
Well, Dan, well played tonight. Commiserations on the result. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for tonight's Eagles Woodlands player of the match, Dan Lawrence. Well, not the result that we were after tonight. We're back in Vitality Blast action next Friday. That game is sold out. If you've got your tickets, well done. If not, fear not. You can follow the game on the live stream. Other than that, we're back to red ball cricket this weekend. We welcome Warwickshire. The gates open at 11 o'clock, so if you do want tickets, you can get those via the website essexcricket.org.uk. Other than that, make sure you get home safely, and we will see you again very, very soon.